Hey everyone, and welcome back to another version of their side, the live streaming episodes that are run by Aaron Maguire. And we are here today with a special guest. You might have just seen him sneak his little head into the screen there, Mr. Tony Hallam, also former Victorian champion, skateboard champion, Australasian skateboard champion, national champion, Team Very Flex rider, and also the Moomba champion, all-round good New Zealand guy. But because we like him so much, we're going to call him our Tony, and we're going to consider him to be an Australian. Yeah?
Thanks, Lucas. Stop it, though. It's a bit much.
Yeah. No, well, it's just a bit of fun. And we're here today to do part 2 of interviewing the Sammut brothers. We've got Dean.
Hello.
And Grant here. We had such a good time speaking last time that we ran out of time to talk about a whole heap of stuff. So we thought we'd have you guys back. And They don't charge much. So here we are. They're back and they're for free.
Do it for me every
We'd
time.
also like to say thanks very much to Michael McGill. Awesome name to have for someone who's donated some beer for us. Single fin. Yeah, from Gage Road Breweries. This one, I believe, tastes a little bit like Carmen Miranda. It's so fruity. So I'm going to drink one now. Thank you. So we'd like to... Thanks for coming back, guys.
Oh, it was so much fun last time. It was
a ball last time.
Yeah.
That's good. Really, really good.
Time went really quick, didn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, good.
And we only got a little bit through the 35 years of stories.
That's because you talk too much, Dean. Tony, have you seen any of their sides so far?
I've watched Al's, Shane's, and Dean and Grant's. So
You enjoying it?
yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah. It's I love what everyone here is doing, and I guess for Aaron conceiving the idea in the first place is really cool because even though he's not from here, he sort of he gets a lot of I guess he's involved in skateboarding, so he kind of gets what it's about. And I guess in talking to him over the years and him meeting different people, he would have seen and perhaps got the idea that people have scenes everywhere, and you kind of join these scenes when you've been around long enough, like these guys have and I have. You kind of join various scenes around the state or in your area. And, you know, I guess we were talking about it earlier, like how we first met. And I came to their scene.
How did you guys first meet?
I'm pretty sure that's the way it worked out, right? I came to East Keilor.
Yeah, I think, would have been
one of the backyard ramps.
Scotty's ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been that. I think I would have seen you earlier, though, like at Paran and stuff like that.
No, I remember earlier in Gladstone Park as well with some of those local boys out there. And then going around to your house, I remember seeing your ramp in the backyard and stuff. Never got to skate it, but I saw it.
Get out.
No, really. And
chain across it and the dog out so you couldn't go near it.
It could have been the case. And there was a fee I think you were going to charge me. And then it kind of probably, that was more, we sort of knew each other a little bit, but it was more after that, back when you came across to the East Keilor scene, that it became a little bit more, I suppose the friendship developed more from that point.
Yeah.
And even just skating at like Paran and stuff. Like I couldn't really skate vert, but I'd go and, I'd skate the bowl and stuff, and then I'd go over to the vert ramp, watch you skate and whatever. And I think you used to lend me your like street model prototype you had, and you just give me that to go skating in the bowl. So I'd go and skate around on the street model for a while. And I don't even know, I think you lent me like some Oakley Sunnies and
Did you give them back?
Swatch. No, I had to give them back. I had to sign for them before you gave them to me. But no, back, God, I would have been, 13, 14 or something.
Well, it's got to be like 87,
yeah, it was
88
like,
kind of time then.
Before I was really even
before
skating.
the early bird comp?
Oh, God. Okay, we're going to get into
Did you go on there?
Dude, look at this.
You ripped him off, man. What are you talking about?
This is like,
No way.
to this day, I'm holding a massive grudge.
Okay, I probably didn't judge it though, right?
No, you judged it.
No, there were two of us there. There were always two of us there, so no one got hung.
Tony judged
It was just me.
Yeah. Tony is solely responsible for this. I went on the early bird show and this crushed my soul. I haven't recovered from it to this day.
Come on, I'll give you a hug later.
I was skating and I actually did some tricks and stuff, and I got beaten by this little kid with glasses who couldn't even kick turn on the quarter pipe.
Oh man!
And Tony was the judge, like full on. I was on there I'm going to win this. I can actually skate. I'm skating really good. And then I got burnt by Tony for a kid that couldn't even kick to
Kickoffs. Someone's getting paid.
Man, I'll give you a voodoo later. Sorry, man.
That's it. I want my voodoo skateboard. My Veriflex voodoo.
That was such a good thing back in the day.
Voodoo was the thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So,
What tricks were you doing?
Sorry, Grant. Obviously not to beat the other guy though, right? The other guy beat him.
I did a rock and roll on the quarter pipe.
Right.
Which was a hard quarter
did a little,
pipe.
It was a
at the
tight little
time.
thing, yeah.
It was a hard quarter pipe, and I did like a little
PVC coping on it.
Yeah.
Which was snapped half the time.
Yeah, that was busted. And I did like a little air off the little jump ramp thing, and I might have done a little beam plan.
We should find it.
You would have done a beam plan.
Yeah, no, I would have done a beam
Did
plan.
your mum and dad tape it?
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere.
Because I've got it probably. I've got all the early bird shows.
That you,
Dean probably taped over it. So
that you judged badly.
Yeah,
Is that what you've done?
I might have deleted that one because they did such a bad job of it.
So we're going to find that.
He has
and
never
I want.
forgotten though.
No. And people don't forget those things. And for me, I apologise and I don't remember it. But it's kind
It's
of
the only reason he asked you to come on.
yeah, that's it.
This week,
So
to
you
have a
can
go
hang
at
me
you,
right
mate.
here.
We woke up at like 6 a.m. and caught the train across public transport.
Oh, you guys
all
did
the
it by
way
yourself?
there.
You didn't get driven there?
No, and then like get there.
Come,
at,
mum
like,
and dad, what's going on, mate?
I
Seriously.
think
Oh, no, that was
I
a
was there with Spotty. Yeah, I think we got driven there.
Mum, there was the other one when
Which
Spotty was
burned
on
even
it.
worse because Mum was there to like see it, and I didn't even win.
Oh man, yeah. There's probably a bunch of those kids that I did that to, and it wasn't intentional.
Did you have to jump? Did you have to judge a lot of comps and stuff?
Yeah, I still run comps, but local ones down at Hobson's Bay and whatever. But the thing with the early bird show was it was kind of funny because not that I'm defending the result, and I still feel bad that I did we know each other then? Probably not, right?
No, as well.
No, so if I knew you, I would have given it to you. That's no question. That's how you can rig it. Probably knew the kid with the glasses.
Yeah, you probably knew it.
That's probably how it worked out. But there's probably a bunch of those kids around that maybe I just made that. Marty Montz probably. Probably Marty Montz was doing something over on the corner. I was watching him the whole time, like messing around.
Yeah.
And I missed your entire run.
Come down it, and you just.
And all I saw was the kid doing a kick turn. Like, yeah, he did a trick. That's fine. He can have it. Like that's probably how it worked out. I got no idea, man. I guess I got to watch it and see where I'm looking when it's happening because they didn't film me. They filmed you guys skating.
Yeah.
We can rerun it, and I'll give you a prize.
Now, when I was talking to you the other day, Tony, on the phone, and you were saying that you guys kind of met up at a bit of a scene. Gladstone Park was the scene. Is that right?
There's probably It could be either one. I'm sort of remembering. You could be right. I think I hung out. I'm trying to think because there was a mate of mine had a ramp on Rachel Road in East Keilor. Was it the main road that goes through roundabout? Yeah, Rachel Road. He had a ramp there in 83, 84. And East Keilor was always really cool for me. I loved going there for that reason. And then when you guys created a scene, like was it Gary's ramp? Was it Gary?
Gary's ramp. Gary Hayes' ramp.
He had the really wide one, right?
Yeah, really wide, like 5 foot high.
That was a bit later down the track.
Yeah, it was after Spotty's.
Yeah.
I was trying to put timelines together the other day, and I was looking for photos of all of us together. I don't have found any yet, but I probably do have some. And I do think it was at a party there that we first crossed paths, talked about skating.
At Spotty's, that party at Spotty's house?
Possibly. Might have been a party there or a civilised party somewhere else.
I remember being at a civilised party with you somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember, and it wasn't a skate party or anything
but
that.
you always flock towards the skateboarders. That's sort of where it all ended up. Like, you're wearing a skate shirt, you must be a skateboarder.
Like, we'd been skating heaps before that and stuff as well, though, I think. But, yeah, I was trying to, because I remember skating with you a little bit at Paran. I remember you took me and Spotty skating out to, like, Bulleen one day. Like, that was before, we were little grommets back then, full on. And you look, and this is testament to Tony, like, being the nicest guy in skateboarding, basically. He, like, what other pro would you find hanging around is just going to, like, pick up a couple of guys in a car and just take them to go out skating just for the fun of it, just so other people could enjoy skateboarding as much as he did, sort of thing. Like, it was pretty rare to have pros or, anyone around that would just do that sort of thing. And even now, we can't even figure out if we knew each other that well before that time. Like, it's one of those things that we really didn't. Yeah. But Tony was just like, oh, yeah, let's go for a skate.
Thanks, Grant. It's nice.
Chucked us in the car. We went for a skate. We had a ball and, and we can't even remember. And it's because of that I can't really remember. Probably did. Payback for making me lose the Early show.
We're even there.
But that's the thing, and that's where talking with Lucas, I couldn't really figure out the exact timeline where we got to know each other properly. Yeah, and look, and it may have been that party, like we had skated around each other bits here and there, and then, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's
I don't even remember that party. I don't know.
No, I don't think you were there.
You can remember one party.
Yeah, there was that party.
Do you want to tell us about that party?
Yeah, at Spotty's house. And he had that beautiful ramp we spoke about in the last episode.
Was that the big wide one? It was like...
It was 16 foot wide.
16 foot wide.
That was around sort of a few blocks away, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hot wood from your mum.
Yep. And at this time we'd already relayed it with the wood that we'd bought. And then there was this party on, and they sort of tidied the house up a little bit. But
After the party?
No.
Before the party?
Before the party, they tidied it up a little bit, but the house was always a mess anyway.
Right.
And then there was lots of stuff going on, and the cops got called. We're out the back skating. It was all night. We had the lights. We'd also found some lights from the auction signs. They were classic.
I forgot about that. They were the best lights to put on the ramp. We had those up all around the ramp. Because
they used to just plug them in with an extension cord, just unplug it and
take
get the whole thing. And so we had all these lights set up, and then the cops turned up, and you know, like they walked in the house, and they were like, "Holy shit, what's going on here?" And they were worried that everyone at this party, all the skaters, had trashed the house, like
because it was a mess.
Because it was such a mess, you know. There was stuff piled up, like couches turned over and all this sort of stuff. And we're like, no, this is clean now. This is cleaner than it normally is.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, and they didn't know how to handle it. They were like, oh, okay. So they're sort of like, what are we here to fix? This is normal.
That's the thing. And I think, and there was mayhem when the cops turned up too, because it was like everyone there was underage, and there was drinking and probably smoking and stuff. And I think even Spotty disappeared over the back fence.
A lot of stolen goods.
The guy that lived in the house disappeared over the back fence.
Because the house behind was getting rebuilt at the time.
Yeah.
So he bailed out of there and just
straight
bolted
out the
out.
back.
No way.
Like
and just left everyone else to worry about it. So.
Yeah.
Now this is Paul, is it?
That was
Paul
Ablett.
Yeah, and I was talking to you about him the other day. You were saying that he was quite a good skater.
Oh man, like he was a good skater on like sort of mini ramps and things like that. He did a lot of funny stuff in the early days, but all of a sudden he was talking about that. He was talking about him doing a boneless off like an 8-stair set and just landing like 4 stairs deep into the set of stairs on his knees. Just he would do these weird things like where he just like, oh, I'm going to bail now, and but not bail, just hit the ground.
The jump ramp one, they said?
Yeah, the jump ramp one. Like he was skating at our house and we're hitting the jump ramp, and he's just done a method air and thought, right, I'm not going to land it, so I'm just going to bail, but not do anything. Just land in method position. Land in method position on the ground. That was it. And he did all that stuff.
Was he doing jump ramps with pads on?
Yeah.
That was a thing for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, most people did that back then.
But in the later days, like he was ripping on vert. Like he's got seriously good. I remember one of the last sessions I saw him. We was skating at Paran. I think it might have been like daylight savings. It might have been like ramp riot time or something like that. It was like
ramp riot. Are we talking like 1987, 88?
The first one.
First one.
I don't even know.
That's all right. We'll get back to that.
Yeah. Yep. But Chris Miller was there. Mm-hmm. It was basically Chris Miller.
Oh, the Festival Hall one then.
Yeah, it must have been somewhere around that time.
Yeah.
And,
and that was 89 then, I think.
Yep. Yeah, so basically Spotty and Chris Miller alone on the Paran ramp, like there was sort of no one.
Get out, really?
Must have been, daylight savings or something. And Spotty was just ripping. Like he was doing stuff that people were only doing on mini ramps and just getting by, and he was doing like half cab ollie blunts, big half cab feeble grinds to fakie, and all sorts of stuff. Pretty decent airs like chest high sailfishes and all sorts of stuff, and bones and everything like that. And it was really sad. I think it was just shortly after that. You were saying that
Chris Miller was kind of...
Chris Miller was freaking out. He was just like, no way. Like seeing tech stuff like that on, treating the vert like it was a mini ramp and stuff like that. He was freaking out. And it wasn't long after that we went to a comp at Werribee, and it was like warm up. He'd had like a run and was just basically messing around, and he would have killed this comp. Like no disrespect to anyone else there, but he would have, knowing what he could do and knowing how the other guy skated, he would have killed it. And he did like a couple of warm up runs, had this really weird slam. I can't remember how or why. It was something basic, as it always is. Like, have your worst slam when you're doing the easiest trick. And just snapped his wrist in half, like, completely just
Like
the wrong
bones
way.
out?
Yeah, bones were poking through the skin a bit, not quite out, but...
it was one of those Z-type shapes.
Yeah, like not a happy shape. But I think that was kind of the downhill thing for him, which was a really sad story. You know, he fell into some trouble after that a little bit, but man, he was ripping too. It was, and Tony would have remembered seeing him skate too.
Did you know him well, Tony, or did you see him?
Yeah, look, Spotty, he didn't say much, did he?
No, he was real quiet.
You know, he just skated hard.
He lived in his cupboard for a week at one point.
Yeah, look,
He was booted out of home, and so he just lived in the cupboard. And then my mum heard about that.
Actually,
and was like, she made him come and stay at our house.
I forgot about that. He lived at our house for a short time as well. Yeah. So yeah, but you know, it's one of those stories that we've all known a heap of people through this industry, through skating, as we've talked about.
have you guys seen him?
Not recently, no, not for a long time. Sort of lost contact with him, and yeah, sort of the last time I saw him, he wasn't in great shape, but
Because he used to live down the road from us in Flemington years ago. This is going back probably 15, 16, 17, you know, down around like Travancore area. He was around there.
Yeah.
And he was
That's right.
still had a
He
skateboard.
lived on Mount Road there, didn't he?
Yeah. Still had a skateboard and still skated.
Yeah.
Didn't really seem like he was into it that hard. He was, but you know, it's sort of how it goes with life, I guess, as well.
Yeah, that's it. Life
Who
gets
else was
annoying.
a part of your kind of group? I was going to say your gang. Your crew that was hanging out.
So cool.
I know,
So
it's pretty
street.
cool.
As long as they got the
Gladstone Park,
hand
yeah.
action on camera.
There was, we had a few different crews because we had like the East Keilor crew. It was like Gary Hayes and Spotty and you know, Paul Ablett.
Yeah.
And yeah, all that sort of crew. Troy Hazoy and everyone.
Troy Hazoy.
Troy Hazoy.
Why is he called Troy
Seriously.
Hazoy?
I think because he had a Zoe.
He loved, he had a Hazoy board and he was Troy.
Did he have
Hazoy.
did he have the party mullet or the?
He had,
did.
curly sort of hair and mullet and everything going on. He was a crazy dude. He was
Was
pretty
that guy
rad.
Pete down the road too, wasn't it? The street skater guy from
Pete
you guys.
Zasevsky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Zasevsky. Yeah.
Yeah, Pete Zasevsky.
Yeah. He was really rad. Seeing some of the stuff that he did in the later days
He
when
was
things
really
started
tech.
getting more tech.
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
tech.
He was
guy.
like, he loved Jeremy Klein and all that sort of stuff and was real tech.
Yeah.
Is this the kind of stuff you were saying last week was a little bit kind of fiddly under your feet and kind of not looking so stylish?
Yeah.
But tech.
He did it pretty well, but it was that sort of era where it was a bit more of that flippy sort of stuff. But no, he was a little bit just before that, and then it got beyond tech after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got a bit worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a bunch of different crews, and like the Gladdy Park crew, like
Well, we had ramps built too. Like we had ramps in our area too. So you know, every court or every other street would have a ramp.
So you lived in Gladstone Park.
Yeah.
That's where you
So I had my ramp in my backyard. Guy down the road, his ramp, and there was Rusty and those guys had their backyard ramp.
quarter
and then-
pipe. Oh, yeah, they had a ramp too, and then they had a quarter pipe and jump ramps.
Yeah.
Um,
And the mum was really into it.
Yeah.
And the mum used to lobby the council for ramps and stuff, and she ended up getting one built, the mini ramp down in Broady.
Jacana?
Yeah, Jacana, that's the one.
Yeah, down the bottom of the hill, yeah.
And then I wonder who got the one in Strathmore made. Who was that?
That was us.
Was it you guys?
Yeah, and Pete and us, we
Really?
organised it through
The mini that's down
The
there.
vert one, the vert ramp.
No,
the
the
vert was
mini.
earlier.
mini ramp.
Okay, yeah. I remember those you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
But the vert ramp must have been lobbied by someone too, like locally, perhaps in that same area.
Yeah, probably. It was very different back then because councils now are all keen to get involved.
Yeah.
But back
yeah.
then you had to really twist their arm, and you know maybe it was 10 grand. It's nothing to a council, for the type of thing it is.
Yeah, and the knowledge is better too. Like they wouldn't build a wooden ramp these days like they used to.
Yeah.
Kids
And the
playing
way
forest.
they do a steel ramp and then they have a wooden underlayer and then they go and, that's raising up a little bit, we'll weld it. And you're like, yeah, but then the wood underneath
burns.
just burns
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they burn the ramp down. Like, they did that at Keon Park actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it was very different with dealing with councils back then because it was long processes and lots of objections, and it's unusual that the objection was always the, it'll bring crime and all that sort of drugs and crime and that. And you're like, the drugs and crime happen in their community anyway. And just because it happens at a skate park once, then all of a sudden the skaters get labelled with it, and it's like, I didn't see that extra sort of level of crime at a skate park ever.
There's actually someone's done an observational study where they've looked at 40 different skate parks and they've had someone sit down and observe the behaviour over a period of time to see what was kind of so antisocial and what's been pro-social.
Were they hiding in a tree?
I don't know.
So it was real.
Probably looking like a pervert in a
plastic coat. It's looking a bit odd without a skateboard there. Yeah.
It was lefty.
Or a scooter,
lefty, So someone's done a study and they were looking at, because the assumption is that people are...
I saw that one last time. It was Shane's one. What's Shane's story?
People are antisocial and that they use drugs and smash glass and do spray paint and all that sort of shit. And the outcomes that they came up with, what their findings were, was basically... stuff that happens there isn't usually done by skaters.
Yeah.
Duh.
We can talk about that.
So the graffiti, the violence, the sort of the breaking of the glass, the rubbish, all that stuff's done by passers-by that happen to gravitate in those particular places. But those places are also a meeting place for young people to practice socialising and order, in a sense. So for people who... And it's one of those places where if you're an individual and you don't really want to socialise, you've got a safe topic, if you like. You've got your skating, so you can go off and do your skating. But then you can have a chat when you want to.
Yeah.
But then you also pick out order, who goes first,
Listen to this, scooter
it's like
kids.
social etiquette. Social etiquette. It's like, okay, so I've had my turn, it's your turn. I'm going to watch this guy. So people can learn from people, So they found out there was way more positive things than negative things that came from it. So stick that up your bum, people.
Yeah, but you don't have to find the objection this much from councils. Like they know what skateboarding is these days.
Yeah.
So
then it was
there's not as much
new to
explaining to do because they kind of get it, and you can almost go, "Hey, look at this thing on this thing called YouTube."
Yeah,
you can see it.
Yeah.
And
because back then
they
it
can have
wasn't
a look
really
at
a sport. They didn't know, was it a sport? Was it a pastime? Where's it fit in?
It's a hobby.
Is it a hobby? Yeah.
It's more of a sport than darts.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I guess they've realised now that it does engage youth. It keeps everyone
completely.
like, man, if I didn't have that
money, it's good money well spent, isn't it?
Yeah, and if I didn't have that outlet to just burst my energy into, like, who knows, I would just run around in circles like a hurricane.
But you see, your skateboarding attracts, right? It attracts everybody.
Yeah.
It attracts like people that just want to be part of it, and it can be anyone from anywhere. So my friends came from like Bayswater, Dandenong. We were living in Fawkner.
Yeah.
And my other friends were from like Frankston, and we just came together in the city.
Yeah.
And the one thing we had in common, and you notice when you travel the world too.
Yeah.
If you're a skateboarder, all of a sudden that skateboarding connection is all you need to like go, hey, we're going skateboarding. Where do we go? Oh, just come with us. We're going here. No matter where you are in the world, that's all you need.
Yeah.
I did that a couple of months ago. I was in Italy and sort of went and found a bowl, the Bastard Bowl in Italy, which is an amazing place, and just started talking to this guy, and he's like, yeah, you can borrow my board and come and have a skate session.
There you go, man. Yeah.
When I was in Spain, I did that. I just was like, I went to the local skate shop and where do you skate? They go, we're going to ramp out the back. And then all of a sudden, and then they go, and then all the guys, I skate with those guys, and they're like, come with us down here, and you go for a skate down there with them, and it's
so
just
rad.
like, there was nothing, like some of it we couldn't even speak the same language. I was in Spain.
That's it, exactly.
But,
it doesn't matter.
We did speak the language. It was that same thing, skateboarding, and we just had the same vibe, and just broke all the barriers down, and how good is skateboarding,
It is.
There's not many other things you do that.
Now, another thing you guys said that you used to hang out. You used to go to SMC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That was a bit later on, and we used to spend a bit of time there, especially Friday nights. And
Friday nights, man.
dinners
Yeah,
after.
that's great. Yeah. So SMC was called Sports Mix City.
Is that what it was?
Was that one? Okay.
Yeah, right.
That's what I remember.
Sports Mix. But
SMC was Sports Mix City, I thought, and it was like this sort of shop that had skateboards and rollerblades, and it had like sports mix. Like it was like the idea was like to have lots of stuff in there, but it's mainly was skateboarding and blading, because blading was big. This is like timeline wise, it's like early 90s maybe. What do you think?
Late 90s.
No.
Late 90s.
Late 90s.
Oh, sorry.
Really?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Totally right after 95. Yeah, totally. Way after 95. Yeah.
Late 90s with the rollerblades, and
that's right.
The rollerblade kids there were pretty funny. They were pretty cool kids.
Yeah.
There was that little kid, Frankie was his name, and he'd go and do like I don't know what they'd call it in a rollerblade term, but like an axle stall or whatever. And we would just pick him up by his underwear and give him this massive wedgie because he was only a little fella.
Right.
And but they were actually pretty cool guys for rollerbladers. They were
cool guys for rollerbladers.
They took it. Yeah.
They actually they were the ones that were going hard and really pushing
trying to
their
progress it.
sport. They weren't just.
They were actually really good. And then they'd actually try and skate too, which was really cool. They were like, they'd get on a skateboard and go, holy fuck, this is hard.
Dean.
No. And they had a good ramp in there. It was a really good ramp.
It was good.
And we'd go there on a Friday night. I'd go there after work because I worked in the city. and we would skate until it closed, and then we'd all go out for dinner together, and every week we'd just pick somewhere
Do you remember there was the vents on the platform to the shop?
And the shop behind.
So like there was a shop open during that time we were in there, 'cause it's night time, and Friday shopping. Yeah.
Oh, to another shop next.
Yeah. So they kind of like the shop was like an L shape like that.
Yeah.
There was a shop sort of slot in here, and the frontage was there, and we'd get up in the vents and go, "Help me! I'm being kidnapped! Whatever, and like kidnapped, like being held, help me!" And people would be like looking around the shop, like, what's going on back there? And they'd sort of slowly leave the shop.
You'd be like, "Oh, I've fallen in the gap between the wall. Can you please call someone? If there's someone there."
It was so good because you could see people. You'd like call out there, and you could watch what the reaction was in the shop.
You cool bastards.
And these days, it's just a clothing shop. It's still there. The corner shop's still there. It's on the corner of like that Maya block.
Right where the Maya
the laneway there.
Street or something, I think.
Yeah, that's where that laneway festival first started. That's
right.
Oh, is that
area
it?
there.
Okay. Yeah.
Just off Swanson.
Good ramp though, man. We had that for a few years, and like you
How
said,
big
like
was it?
It was a rad one.
5, 6 foot high. Yeah,
6 foot.
With
good tranny on it. Probably
Yeah.
what 20 foot wide, maybe.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
16, 20.
And indoors, so you can skate it
extension-
anytime.
Extension
Metal
on one
coping?
side.
Still coping, yeah. Had
Solid
an extension
build,
on one
really-
side. Yeah, really good.
Really good.
Yeah. It lasted years, and it was never really run down, was it? It was always looked after.
No,
It was
pretty
better than the
solid.
shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we
The shop was pretty horrific. Yeah.
Remember we
That was Al
sort of
Bolden who then went off and started off Evolve on Chapel Street, I think.
Yeah.
Which is still there, but I don't think Al's involved in that.
Okay.
No, I don't think
And
I was.
Hans used to work there.
Yeah, Hans DC was there.
Hans
He
was
was a
there.
ripper. And my friend Carlton worked there as well. And that's where I met my partner as well. That's sort of...
There's a lot of
Yeah,
a lot
really.
of stuff stemmed
Yeah.
from that shop. And we'd
Yep.
go and skate there, until that sort of closed, went and get dinner, and then we'd go sleep for a while and jump in the cars at like 4 a.m. and end up at Hotham for like first
That's right.
runs.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds right.
And then like that was those weekends were kind of hell. Like you'd be completely trashed from skating, go eat some dinner, get like no sleep, jump in the car, drive. Get down for first runs at Hotham on a Saturday morning, and then board for 2 days solid, like from first runs to last run.
Legs
And then
jelly.
and then you'd drive home and not get home till like midnight Sunday night, and then go to work and just be wrecked.
I remember going up to
was
Hotham,
fun days,
we were going up with you when Will came across.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're halfway
We did it a couple
we're
of
driving
times.
halfway up
Yeah.
and my car broke down,
Had to
so
go
we
back,
drove
right?
back.
Yeah.
Got the rental Tarago.
That's it.
And they're like,
You weren't there,
can't
Graham,
go.
this one?
No, it was only the three of us.
Was it?
You,
Okay.
me, and Will.
Yeah.
And they, I just can't go above Snowline. Yeah, no worries. Off we go.
That's when you're driving it.
And then we were going past the kids who were waiting for the school bus in the country, in the rural areas. And me and Will are in the back, and Tony's like, yeah, go on, get them. And so we just open the back door and just have apples and just be throwing them apples and stuff. It's like, apparently apples are good to take to school, aren't they? So
Not in the
catch
side of
them,
your head. Yeah.
there was
But it
some
wasn't just
silly
that.
stuff like that.
I remember driving, like going, what are you guys doing? Like almost like didn't get permission. Like Dean goes like I got permission to do it, but they was like pulled the door up and like, what's going on back there? And they're piffing them, but not throwing them at the kids, like throwing them in the puddles next to the kids, so the dirt just splashes all over them. So they're going to school dirty in the middle of winter.
I did try to change the.
Hooligans.
It was funny though. It was pretty funny. I'm sure they got nightmares about that. Those poor kids out there. Same as Grant with the early bird show.
The judging. Never going to get over it.
Something we didn't get to talk to you about the other day was Demo King.
Oh yeah, it sort of got mentioned briefly in a couple
What's
of
Demo King?
conversations.
Or was Demo King?
So it started off. Oh yeah, sick. Here's one of the original stickers.
Oh, there we go.
So there we go. That one there is one of the originals. It's based on a number plate style, and
That's yours.
oh, sick. Yeah. The one of my friends actually. We talked earlier on about the graphics on the
Single
stuff
fin
here.
beer cans.
Single fin is
stuff,
Andy
mate.
Murphy.
Is that
did the
Andy? No
graphics.
way. Is that his?
Well, yeah, Andy did the graphics of that, but his brother was Sam Murphy, or Mavey as most people know him. He was working as a screen printer, and somehow I got the title of Demo King at demos. I was, I think I
I think it
mentioned
was even demos. We'd just go skating, and next thing it'd be like everyone would sort of kind of stop and watch.
Stop and Watch. Yeah, so that's how I got this Demo King sort of name. And then I turned up, and Mavey turns up and gives me this T-shirt with Demo King on it.
Oh, cool.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome, thanks, man. And it was just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, people are going, oh, I'd love to get a Demo King T-shirt. And so we sort of, Mavey's like, yeah, I can make them for you. And it ended up becoming a clothing brand. I've actually got here's one of the jumpers that we got made. So we got
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. So we've got a whole bunch of clothing sort of made, but as it turns out,
How long did it go for, Demo King?
a couple of years, but it was not something I was able to do full on or anything like that. And as I was about to say, it's something that it turns out that I'm not that interested in fashion. So I was interested in the Demo King. But
Well, we wanted to tell you were a dag for a while, didn't we?
but the clothing industry was difficult as well because I wanted to get stuff made here in Australia, and to do that, then it was a bit more expensive. And then I'd look at things and go, oh yeah, on the shelf of the skate shop, it's $30 for a t-shirt or whatever, and it cost me $15. That's cool, that works out. But what I didn't realise is the shop puts their 50% on, and then there's got to be another 50% that I've got to be in between, and I never got to make any money on it.
Too narrow a margin.
Yeah. So, and then trying to source the type of clothes and materials that I wanted, it was all very difficult.
Would have cost a lot then. It would have been a lot more material, a lot more baggy clothes, I think.
It was not quite. We just passed the baggy stage.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Past the baggy
Just
stage.
past the baggy stage. So what was it
It
then?
was.
Actually, these jumpers were a little bit puffy, but like
were.
the other stuff was fairly normal size. It wasn't like you were wearing triple extra large.
No, they were all pretty normal stuff. Really.
Nothing wrong
That was
with, I
kinda
just want
around-
to say there's nothing wrong with triple extra large size t-shirts.
If your body, if
For
your
some
body
people,
is that
okay.
size.
If you're as buff as you are.
yeah,
That's right, yeah.
If
You
you
lift it,
just
you lift
rip
it.
work
your shit,
out.
then that's just how it fits.
So,
I think that was around the shed time, wasn't it?
yeah, it would have been about there.
What's that? What's that? Late 90s, still like 98,
Actually,
99?
I think there's a date on here.
What?
No, it's on the t-shirts. There's a date on the t-shirts.
Were you saying
97.
you used to go to the shed with these guys?
97.
Oh yeah.
They used to
Yeah.
pick you up from your house or your house from their house? Okay.
No, we'd go in separate cars, I think.
No, you take me in the.
Oh, you come in the demo
Corolla,
kit?
yeah.
That's right. You were telling me
Yeah.
about
Because
your
my car actually,
Yeah.
my car
He
actually
still
has
has the
that
Demo King car.
number plate. Yeah, I've still got it.
And I remember
Have
one
you got a
time.
Demo King number plate?
I do. My car has got the number plate Demo King on it, and I think I got that after the sticker was made. I got because I was like, oh, that's so cool. I'll do that.
Cool.
And then the funny thing too, living in East Keilor, a bit of a small community, and I used to burn around the neighbourhood, as I think
You
I
were a
described
fucking
last time.
hoon, I think is
And
would be fair
and
to
then
say.
a couple of years ago, I was cycling with a friend, and he grew up in East Keilor too. He was about 6-7 years younger than me, so it was a different sort of era. But he goes, oh yeah, I remember growing up in East Keilor, and I saw this guy used to always drive around in this Corona, this hotted up Corona, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I go, I'll come past my joint on the way home, and we roll up to my joint and open the garage. He's like, oh no, you're the Demo King.
Yeah, right.
So
But you still got it.
I've still got it, yeah. Or bits of it. It's rusting away slowly, but it's.
It's now got, what was that
yeah.
thing that was sitting in there the other night?
I've got
New Year's
this.
Eve?
I've got a Halloween thing that I put in there because it had so many cobwebs on it, and I was like, oh,
Right.
it's perfect for Halloween.
Right.
So I
Roll
put
it
like
out.
a dummy in there, and it's got this scary mask and stuff like that.
Stuff. We scared
And-
the kids with it.
yeah.
Trying to lure children with
And
sweets into your backyard.
That's right. It's under a cover, and so then on Halloween I just lifted the cover up halfway and put a little light inside, and the kids would get
Awesome.
totally scared from it. And the cobwebs were perfect on it. Didn't have to do any props at all.
Then they like rip his
So were
arms
you
off.
trying to sell this stuff, Demo King products?
Yeah, I sold it
So what did you
through
have? You got
Yogi's.
t-shirts?
T-shirts, jumpers, polo shirts. That was pretty much it. Just
Okay.
a range of different logos and stuff on that. And the logos, like I used to just do it on Microsoft Word, just like work out the,
Yeah.
what do you call the different,
Should have been technical back then.
yeah,
it
like
was high
shapes,
tech.
just putting in shapes or whatever it was. And it was pretty basic stuff. But it was a bit of fun, and it was an extension of me and an opportunity to stay involved in the industry side of it a bit more, because at that point from the industry side I wasn't sponsored in the same levels that I was previously. So, it was
So
still
this was
giving-
kind of as you'd been sponsored, and then you'd moved on to doing stuff in the industry, and you didn't have sponsors at that point.
Oh no, I had sponsors, but more just shop sponsors, not the
always
manufacturer
been
or
people
warehouses
helping
and
out.
stuff. So, so it was sort of that next level of staying connected in the industry. But again, I sort of got to that point where I thought it really wasn't for me, that the fashion side of it or the whole that sort of thing. I had some kids that I sponsored at the time and stuff as well. There was a kid who was out from he was out like maybe Narry Warren Way or somewhere like that. He was so good. He was doing blunt slides on handrails and stuff before anyone, and really smooth style and things like that. I remember packing a package for him with all the different
Sending it off.
t-shirts and stuff and sending it to him, and thinking about how he would receive it on the other end. Like I remember receiving my first package.
Yeah, pretty exciting, huh?
That shit still happens, because I was with Wago on the Lamborghini team tour, and he sends stuff to people every now and again. Some people. He sends some stuff to stoke them out, but to get people on the team and just to because a lot of the people on his team, they live in Whoop Whoop. They don't live in the city. They live in sort of rural towns, and I'm even amazed that these guys skate so well down there.
But these days, with so many skate parks, though, you get guys from anywhere, sort of nowhere almost, coming out and becoming the next best thing because of the way it works. One time, you picked me up from home. I remember I had a hat on, and you were driving down the freeway. I looked out the window, and the hat flew off. I was going, Dean, and he goes, don't worry about it, man. It's all good. We'll just keep going. I didn't have a hat for the skate trip. And we went down the freeway the next time, and I saw the road cleaning guy wearing my hat. It got recycled.
Someone's going to win.
Yeah, and it was like
someone getting skin cancer. Anyway.
Yeah, that's it. It helped him out. But it was something like a remember the hardware Rude? Remember the Reginatos? They made that hardware brand Rude.
Yep.
It was that one of those ones? One of their hats.
Got a trick question for you. Worst fashion item you've ever worn in skateboarding?
Without a doubt, man, like spandex, for me.
Ooh, okay. What was that?
Crap!
Yeah, I tried to copy Christian Asoy.
Yeah, Christian Asoy.
Okay.
Yeah, so Mambo bought out. I skated for Mambo back in the 80s, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
And there's an advert which I'll get for Aaron to put up at some point. But it was me doing a Madonna at the Adelaide Grand Prix.
Yep.
Totally, busting out this. I don't know if it's spandex, whatever you want to call it, that sort of stretchy,
Lycra.
aerobic material.
Spandex
Was it just spandex shorts?
Not a onesie, just a short.
not like your
onesie.
Not like your cycling gear now. But
No. It's certainly different for that. Yeah, just the shorts and a little tie up thing.
It's funny that
What about you guys?
We do now wear that stuff on
to go
our
cycle. Totally.
Because that spandex stuff is funny in that I remember Dave Ablett, the Ablets that we spoke of earlier. He wanted to wear that. He was trying to find some at the shops and stuff, but he was too skinny. His legs were so skinny that it was still flapping.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he couldn't find stuff.
That's right. I've got to say that as a thing to wear, skateboarding was the worst because on wooden ramps, splinters straight through.
Yeah, right.
You'd get heaps.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Maybe Gungaroids.
Gungaroids.
I remember the brand
stuff.
Was it trying to be a Mambo or something? Was it?
I think in early Mambo stuff. Remember those Skater Die t-shirts and stuff.
The
thing was.
Oh no, it's got to be those Vision. It's got to be the Vision jacket.
Oh, that we didn't get. We gave to you.
No, I had a Vision.
Yeah.
They sent all the Vision jackets to Ballarat. That's all.
I've got one. I've got one at home.
Yeah, Vision shorts were
probably
cool.
brand new. I never wore
jackets, nut.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. We spoke about those big pants and stuff last week.
Big pants.
They were the ones.
Pretty functional though.
Massive pants.
Pretty functional, size 40s.
Not when you're as short as us. Like it just
it looks silly, right? Yeah, it looks like you're wearing silly shorts.
But when there's that much material that it weighs like 17 kilos just for your pants,
it's fit a lot in your pockets though.
Yeah,
we did.
Oh yeah, that was a whole nother subject.
Didn't someone make them called the smuggler or something? You could steal alcohol or something down the leg of your pant, like a really extended pocket.
They made a pocket in.
Yeah, and it was like extended all the way down to your ankle, so you could go in the shops and knock things off.
One of the biggest light bulb moments for me is when I figured out that if you were going to steal one chocolate from a 7-Eleven, you could actually take a handful. Instead of one, it was just a handful. And it was like, man.
We used to just put them in the Slurpee, and then when they started letting you do the Slurpee at the front, and so the Slurpee would give you. Slurpee was always a Slurpee and something inside. Initially, it was getting him to get the Slurpee done, and you'd take all the stuff off the front counter, and then they realised that was getting them stuff stolen, so they said, "All right, Slurpees go out there, and you do it yourself," and then we just still found a way to fill it up with stuff anyway.
Do you remember the mini mart around the corner from Spotty's house?
Oh no, that place was raped and pillaged. I feel so sorry for those people trying to make a business.
Like the guy's standing there looking at us and Spotty's got like a packet of chips. Of all things, like the chips.
Just stick it.
And he's standing there going, like staring this guy dead in the face with this thing just going. The guy's just looking at him going, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm watching you,
seriously. Staring at you while
hiding in plain sight.
I can see you.
But some of the stuff we did, though, we used to do adverts. You guys ever do adverts and stuff for skating?
No.
I did one or two. I remember doing one with Renton with a watch company, and they built this little ramp, but it was made of the thinnest of plywood.
Nice.
And they go, they're trying to get us to stand at the top and drop in.
So it was just for looks?
Yeah, well,
altogether,
they didn't know that it was just for looks, but they thought it was going to work. And so they go, okay, we'll take photo, and then drop in, and dropped in, and the wheel just went straight through it. And then on the ground, flat, splattered. I did some television stuff as well with ABC. I did a show, and we turned up there at like 8 in the morning, and then the show wasn't on until 3 p.m. or something. And then they go, right, you're on. And you're just like, what? And they go, ollie up that. And you're just like, what? You just, and just stuff like that where they just exploited you, I suppose. And maybe they didn't understand skateboarding and we didn't understand TV.
Well, acting's acting, right? So you got to turn up and that's it. They expect you to wait all day until your moment's now and you got to go.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying about fashion, like they make you wear some really weird stuff and make you do some interesting things. Like back in the 80s when I did some stuff, they made you wear like a power pack video thing if you had to do film your own scene. Wanted like motion stuff. Like GoPros today, a joke. You just put it on. It weighs as much as a wallet. Camera. Yeah, like you had to wear the whole thing, like the power pack over your shoulder, and try and tape things to your head and to your body, and some stuff was just ridiculous what they did.
And they'd want you to ride the ramp, like the vert ramp.
And do 540s and stuff, and do all kinds of stuff. You'd be like,
no, I don't think so. No. Yeah.
I can get the camera and go like that with it as I'm afterwards and hold my board on the side. Different ways to do it. But it's pretty funny. And also thinking that the thing. I remember the Big M commercial. We filmed that 1 year ago. When the river runs dry, it was the Hunters and Collectors song. Yeah. And they
yes.
And I went up and did a hand plant and crushed the Big M carton. And the guy was like, yeah, that's cool, man. And they didn't think you could do it again.
Yeah, right.
They thought you just did it once and it was lucky that you did it. Well, yeah, you can just do things over and over. Yeah. When you're a skater, you can do it in the same place
especially
a million times.
Consistent.
I did a lot more skating than most people because I enjoyed it. Anyway, so he went up and did it again.
Training. I thought you were.
Well, I was going to say training, but training's not the right word.
Training is you at Kensington doing ollie training. That's
come on.
Anyway, so some of those days are pretty funny where they dress you up in the weirdest stuff, thinking that's fashionable at the time, when they're probably like completely way off, and you just try and advise them. No, I got the wardrobe guy here. He knows what's going on. You're going to wear this, and you're going to wear this makeup, and it's like. All right, let's go.
Okay, he goes with dignity.
Yeah, or even your advert, like it's because skaters look at those
things
and go.
Who did Skittles? Was that Chris
Payne?
Yes.
Yeah. Chris, I thought that was a good commercial actually.
Yeah.
We did the Aerosport one, and that was with actually with Shane, and all of his crew.
Yeah, Aerosport was in there.
Yeah,
you're right. Yep.
Yeah, and that was like a.
Where was that?
That was a shoe brand.
Yeah. What did they have you doing?
Yeah.
What did they have you doing?
Just street skating, flying off jump ramps.
Yep.
Shane actually put a photo on his website a while ago, his Facebook page, of a dolly, those dolly camera things on that train track thing. Yes. And I'm doing something, and the camera's right next to me, and they've got like smoke machines going, and again, weird fashion.
I must take some smoke machines next time we're down Brunswick.
Oh, please, bring it on. And we'll wear
I want to see you come out of the smoke machine.
Yeah, it's just
I never bought any Aerosports though.
I think I had a pair.
I saw that and I'm like, that's not street skating.
And it wasn't. We were grinding some curb, trying to look cool.
Like a stair curb.
We try to advise them, man. Like just they're probably better at these days.
Yeah.
Because skateboarding is a bit more hip, and it's kind of like it's easy to get. These days you can buy advice.
Yeah.
Then you couldn't.
You've probably got someone who's a skater in the industry.
Possibly, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, which helps. Yeah. And then back then we were the kids getting paid to the job, saying, no, this is not going to look cool, and then it's going, no.
You wouldn't know.
We know it, man. No, you don't. Okay, cool.
They're like, we're creating the next big thing.
Yeah, and I think didn't go well. He didn't buy a set.
No,
I didn't buy a set because
I might have ended up with a pair of Aerosports, but they might have been the pair.
Were they the ones you said your mum painted black because you didn't like white shoes?
We did that.
They were white.
They were white.
Yeah, they were white.
But there was a funny story. I met up with a friend of mine.
That was a funny story.
No, that's funny enough. But no, there was a friend of mine I met up with. I went up to Brisbane for work, and I ended up having dinner with her and stuff. And she was telling me a story. Like she goes, this one day, she goes, you were always the happiest guy, never upset about anything. It didn't matter what happened, whatever. And apparently, and
then you lost that skate comp that Tony judged.
Yeah.
And everything changed.
It was downhill from there.
Yeah.
But no, apparently I had this pair of runners, and for whatever reason, I hated them. And I turned up at school one day and just went, I fucking hate these runners. And apparently I cut these runners up. Just went, she goes, I've never seen you that upset. But just because you had these runners, you like chopped them up and said, I'm not wearing these things again.
Were they a high top? Did you make them a low top? You were before the half cab.
I'm going to presume that they were the Aerosports.
They probably would have been.
When you say chop them up,
I'd chop the top of them or something like that. She remembered it and told me about it.
They were paper thin soles. They were horrible.
They were horrible.
Yeah, and almost made like a slippery material.
Yeah, it was like really plastic.
Yeah, no, that's the shoe, man. Yeah, blame my shoes. Yeah,
I reckon it was then. And I've gone to school one day and and she reckons I was the most depressed she's ever seen me.
Because of your shoes. It's so good.
This is the funny thing. When I was about 6 or 7, my mum bought me this. This has got nothing to do with skateboarding right now. She bought me these brown, like, Grosby school shoes.
Just
I used to take them.
yeah.
I used to take some other shoes in my school bag, hide them in the garden, and then wear my other shoes to school and come back and put them back on. I was mortified by them.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
We got a weird shoe thing going on.
Yeah, I know.
No, but it's a brand. It's a Grosby.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
it's just that,
function.
'cause-
They're functional
Yeah,
shoes.
they're bad.
Yeah.
Now, pool skating. Do you guys skate many pools?
We had a bit of a go back.
Sunshine Pool was one, right?
We went there. I remember going there really early days when we were just learning
I don't
again,
think I
and
hit that one.
we turned up and we had a bit of a kick turn and stuff like that. And then the Hill Brothers turned up, and when they turned up, and I think at the time you would have been skating.
And I was probably with them.
Yeah,
I was probably with them. I was the shadow for the long
Steve
time,
used to be like shredded, like muscle dude,
Like me.
and a bit
Exactly.
smaller than you, but yeah, he was shredded.
He was.
And we shat ourselves just because he took his top off and we were like, we're out of here.
Really?
It was a
going on
pretty
here?
cool adventure though, going into this abandoned house. It was all busted up, and then you go out the back and there's a pool and some skaters there, and you like get pretty stoked on that. And
Someone dropped me a picture and a map the other day of one out there. An empty pool.
a current one.
Probably Lincoln.
do it.
Lincoln's been.
Could have been Lincoln.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it that one that he emptied?
I don't know. He's been getting around trying to
He
find.
found a really bad one, and he's found a good one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
Won't
the
tell
photos of the good one. Look, but I don't think
No one's
is he telling
listening?
you where it is?
No one's listening.
I know where it is.
All right,
Don't
let's talk
Right,
after.
later, yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about latitude.
No idea. No idea
now.
what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Now,
The
you've
other
got
one-
another pool story.
Yeah, the other one was also, we spoke of Spotty earlier on. And we
Spotty
went
who
to-
does the dive off the stairs onto his knees.
Correct.
Yeah, lands a method on his knees and jump.
And before he got to
the
the
best
stage where he was really good, we went to a pool in Brighton, and actually Shane George had some photos.
Brighton.
Shane George had some photos of that pool and some of the guys ripping it, which was cool. It
Was that Lorne Dennis? Was it that pool?
No, I think Lorne would have been there.
Lorne would
yeah.
have been there.
Someone
Not with
skated
us,
once,
but
yeah.
he would have been in the crew that went there, yeah. We went there and it was a house had been renovated and they were doing the pool up at the back and we're skating it, and then we were getting ready to leave, and as we were going, we went out, he and I went out the side, and Spotty went back inside the house to get his bag. And as he was doing that, the cops came in because they'd been called by the neighbours. So they came in the house, saw him in there, and went, "Hey, you!" And we're out the front going, "Oh, where's Spotty?" So we went back inside, and then we're like, "Oh yeah." The cops were like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Oh, you know, we're just here." And they've got Spotty, and we're like, "Oh, we were just here." And like, "Right, you're calling your parents and telling them what you did." So they get Spotty to call his mum, and he calls up his mum, and she goes, "Oh, you're the police? And so why don't you just put him in jail?" and they're just like, they're hoping that she was going to have a bit of a hard talk to him.
Yeah.
But that
And
was
they're
the
like,
kind of
"Oh,
parenting you could get
okay."
from an
Right.
ablet mother.
Yeah.
Like, it was
So
just.
she just totally says, "Just put him in jail. I don't want to know about it. It's your problem. You're the police."
Did he go to jail?
And no, the police were just like, "Right, get out of here, boys." They were like,
Oh, kid's got it hard enough.
too
yeah.
much paperwork.
They're like, okay, our bluff's been called.
Yeah.
And their next phone call was to child protection.
Yeah.
We just bailed. So there was some fun pool times as
Yeah.
well. Never got a real good. We had a couple of sessions in pools over the years, but never really a good pool or one that we were able to spend a lot of time in. And I remember seeing pictures early days of the one in Adelaide. Did you ever skate that one in Adelaide?
I was overseas when that was
That one
going.
looked
Yeah,
awesome.
It was so
That looked
good.
really
Yeah,
good.
The
Yeah.
capo one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's a
By
few
all
good
accounts,
ones
it was
now.
fantastic, man. Like just the tranny and the size, massive pool. Have you seen
Yeah.
photos of it?
No.
Oh man,
It was
so
really
good.
big and great training.
Yeah,
And it's not
Lee-
one that was
Lee got to skate
built
it.
for that purpose, whereas a lot of pools these days are built for the purpose of skateboarding.
Yeah.
You know, like some people
Yeah.
build them specifically.
Because apparently that house was derelict, and they found it.
Yeah.
In Adelaide?
Yeah.
Yeah, and overlooked
And it
the
was
water and
beautiful.
stuff. It was in a
beautiful
real
setting.
nice neighbourhood.
Yeah,
and
real
stuff.
good
Yeah.
location.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if
Again.
there's going to be many more of them. They're probably going to be just plastic for now. A lot of plastic insert pools.
Or square, because people like lap pools these days, you know,
Yeah,
for doing
yeah,
their
yeah.
laps and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, like, I reckon there aren't many
They're
pools.
going to be out there, though.
They
Some-
are. I've skated a good one in Altona
Yep.
years
okay.
ago.
When I think Altona, I don't think pools.
It was on the foreshore,
Oh, yeah. Okay, then I
on the
understand,
Esplanade, and it was just in this block. The coping had been smashed off, so the
Yeah.
Rio was poking through, and part of the part of the tile was still
Is
there.
that the one that Anton Jean Day and that skated a fair bit?
Possibly, because I spotted it and then took a few guys down there. We skated it, and I tore the arch of my foot really badly. I couldn't.
Oh, on that? Or
Yeah, actually in that
shit.
pool. But then I heard it got skated a lot more after that, and it was rad because the Rio was poking out of the top, and you could grind it and still get gnarly and
Was it
hope your
a
wheels
new
didn't get
pool,
stuck
was
in. No, it was an old pool. They were taking the top off it.
Oh, that's why the Rio was out.
Yeah, to make it flush with the ground, and then they were going to use it for catching water to water their garden.
Oh, wow.
Under their house.
Grey
They've
water
got a
stuff.
brand new
Yeah,
house
yeah.
over it now. Yes, the grey water sits there now, and they just use it to pump it out to the garden.
To
Interesting.
breed mozzies.
Yeah,
breed
yeah.
mozzies.
I remember you telling me once that the good place to look for pools with curves in them was like along the beachside suburbs because they've got softer sand underneath, so they have to have the curve rather than the squared sides and stuff like that.
Yeah, because
And I was like all excited. I'm like, oh yeah.
And because they can afford a pool. That's
But yeah, that was
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
the real reason.
and that's generally the case. Like the best ones I've ever skated have been around the beach, and that's a theory I had for a long time, and I think it makes sense. It could be the age of the pool too, though.
Brisbane way, because our weather's not
Oh
so
man,
awesome.
some of the pools up in Brisbane are amazing, still amazing. I think Melbourne's we've been unfortunate. Such a good skate scene,
Yeah.
not a great backyard pool scene.
No.
Yeah, the
so one
pools
thing
here
that's let our scene down. We've got great street, great ramps, great parks, great everything. But
What about other kind of structures that aren't necessarily pools? But they're sort of in Ballarat we used to have the Trout Hatcheries, which was like this fishing.
Oh, like the hat farm, the hat factory.
Yeah, hat factory. Yeah, Eltham,
Hat
yeah.
factory. Where's
We
that?
had the hat factory.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was out near Eltham.
Yeah, I believe it's still there. Just
No,
filled with
I
water
think
these
it's
days.
buried now.
Yeah.
Oh, did they bury it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's buried. I've driven past a little
Okay,
bit.
that's a shame. It was good fun.
There was
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
little pond which had a curb lip around the top with all these sort of
So little banky
curve,
and
yeah.
little
Yeah.
curvy corners.
And was it called a hat factory because it was a hat factory?
next to the hat
Yeah,
factory.
yeah.
Right. It wasn't full of mercury or anything like that.
It was a fun
We don't
place.
know, maybe.
Some good
That's what
sessions.
milliners
Could be.
used to make hats, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mercury.
Oh, possibly. Who knows? We're just kids going in there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And
pretty wild.
drains and stuff like that.
Yeah,
skating
Springvale drains. There's heaps of places.
I
Yeah.
haven't been there. That's where they do the sort of the slalom thing down the street.
Yeah. Easy to find.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, the rooftops at was it Ringwood or
Yes, there's one in Ringwood and in
Springvale as well?
and Vermont.
Vermont? Yeah.
There's two of those.
The
Yeah,
toilet block
the
roofs.
dunny roofs, yeah.
Yeah. That was better to skate on those roofs than it was to fall asleep on one at New Year's Eve that I did once down at Bowen Heads and get woken up by some guy doing the most horrible after grog bog.
That'll wake you up.
Yeah.
That'll wake you up.
But there's a ton of stuff. Like we used to do a lot of DIY stuff.
Oh,
You know,
back.
Yeah. But as simple as like finding a door,
Yeah.
Yeah.
putting it up against the
Wedge it
wall,
against the
wall,
wedging
yeah.
it and skating that because there was no terrain.
Nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are a testament to that. There was no terrain. You had to build your own, right? Build the
Yeah,
ramps.
yeah.
You know, obviously stealing
Build
timber
the
to build
ramps,
ramps, and we did the same thing. We, my mate in Faulkner, Mark, they were building a new soccer pavilion, and he lived across the field from it. So of course he was there every night, just like carrying wood across, and within a few months we had a
But
ramp
these builders
skate.
the next day like fucking.
Yeah, my timber's gone, and so, it was far enough away to be secret.
Yeah.
But he didn't care. He's like just taking it across the oval, like to his house and getting it ready. And this is the thing, like we made our own scene. We made our own scene basically, I think,
Yeah.
because there wasn't really a scene. You know, like
Or you'd find a curb that you'd wax up, or you'd
That's
go
it,
and
yeah.
someone would get rid of their hot water system, and you'd take that out down the back, and you'd have a nice square block ledge thing that you could put in the back car park
Yeah.
somewhere. Or
We had we were lucky in Ballarat. We had in North Ballarat there was a place called Tucker Bag. And Tucker Bag's like at the back of a Tucker Bag's
supermarket,
supermarket,
yeah.
which aren't around anymore. But there's like this bank, this huge bank
Oh,
that
like in
goes
the
right
loading
down the
dock
back
area?
of Delivery Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And like you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
get like a couple of runs on that, and then we'd be putting like pallets on top of it and doing bonuses onto the top, and
Yeah.
it's still there. It's still there, but it was awesome, and you could, there'd be.
Did you get booted out of there?
Oh, yeah, some of the time, but in the end, I think they kind of
They're okay.
on the
You weren't
weekends
causing
they were
trouble
cool
and
with
stuff?
it.
Yeah, okay.
No, on the weekends they were
Yeah.
cool with it, because
Yeah.
there was no one there.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that the dirt had got worn away on the top, so you could grind it.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's just like you could
yeah.
grind it. But the shit we used to do on that, I was just thinking, there's no way I could do anything like that.
But I remember that stuff. Like we would travel like literally for 2 or 3 hours to go from our side of town completely out to like it was near where they filmed Neighbours. Remember they had that banked wall?
Oh yeah, that was cool in the school.
Yeah.
In Nunawading, yeah.
But you'd
just
go
do
for
it.
like
You just do
3
it, yeah.
hours each way public transport and skating for like a couple of Ks. Like, and skateboards really aren't the best form of transport if you're honest about it. Like if you're just pushing along.
They probably were in the 80s because the wheels are a bit softer.
Yeah, they
they're
were
a bit
better
bigger like
back
today.
then.
Today's ones are just like
But like
riding on rocks.
You're thinking of like 6 hours of uncomfortable travel just to go and skate something.
That's the adventure though, right? So you get up, you go, we're going here today, man. Everyone's like, everyone's amped about it.
You'd push
and
it.
you're all going, and it's like your little group.
And you'd be the whole way
yeah.
on the train doing dumb shit, And then you'd like get the next tram, you're doing dumb shit. And then next train, you're doing dumb shit. And then you're skating there doing dumb shit.
We were from the country, so we'd have that extra hour and a half on the train.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what.
So it's an extra hour and a half on the train. Then you'd come into, you'd hit the big smoke in Spencer Street, and then you'd kind of get lost because you didn't know public transport. Whatever. But I'd go like Friday night. I was about probably 16, and I'd leave for 3 days and wouldn't come back. And it's not like you had mobile phones, so you couldn't call your mum.
No, you're gone. Yeah.
But then I'd come back on a Sunday night. You'd be skating Paran all day. Come back, catch the train back. You'd be absolutely wretched. You'd be stinky. You know.
Yeah.
You'd be
No
lying there,
shower, 3 days.
sleep at night time, and you'd wake up with just like the worst sort of, you know, your legs would be just paralysed from
Too much skating.
in agony.
But you did though. I remember, and if you missed that train, you weren't getting home, right? Because there's probably one train. Because we used to go to Melton, and there was a single train from Spencer Street that would go out.
You made sure you got that
and
train.
if you had to leave the skate park early to get the last train back, if you missed it, you're calling your mum or dad to come and pick you up from there.
Yeah.
And then again, we had to skate like whatever k's it was from the train station to the skate park.
Because the skate park was on the other side of Melton.
Way over, yeah. But you know, we used to skate the Spencer Street ramps going down.
Yeah.
For as long as we could. Like, we just skate those until we got booted out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the fact you got booted out of those things. The fact that there was just nothing to skate.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot. Like, I think at the time, like when you guys were skating, what was around? We had Ringwood.
At the banks down
Ringwood.
What skate parks? Ringwood was gone. Was it gone
There was
already?
like,
The skate park.
I never went to Ringwood.
The bowl. Never went out there.
No.
I went there. It was gnarly though.
Yeah, it was
so
gnarly.
kinked and everything.
Yeah.
Doveton was gnarly as well.
I think I went to Ringwood once, and there was like shopping trolleys in the bottom and all.
Yeah, it was always covered in
glass
glass. Yeah, it was horrible.
Bogans and
that's
like
just normal.
we didn't even
That's normal
skate
out there,
it. Like we turned up there and got chased, and it was like that was it. I think so.
Because skateboarding was so small.
Yeah.
You know, I think
It was
for us when we were back in the early 80s. So you would turn up and get chased by people, and often you'd just be going, "Man, we just want to skate."
Yeah.
You just turn around and go, "Why are you chasing us? We just want to come and ride the skate park."
Yeah.
And they'd just leave you alone.
Chased out of what's it? Not is it Southland? No, Chadstone. It was Chadstone Shopping Centre. We were skating there, some ledges at the back, and we got chased out of there. And this guy had a big machete, and we ended up running out and hiding in someone's front yard. They were doing their watering, and we ran in their yard. And they're like, "What are you doing?" We're like, "Some guy's chasing us. Just keep watering and just pretend we're not here." And like this dude goes past with this machete. I don't know what was going on. What triggered him so bad?
Oh man!
Because he chased us like for about a kilometre.
Yeah.
Just because we were skateboarding on some ledge that wasn't even his. He just turned up and
didn't like it. Didn't like the
we
noise.
used
Maybe
to-
woke him up from night shift.
We used to get chased in Ballarat up and down the main street, which is this main street, Stir Street. But
Imagine it like.
well, because in Ballarat, the only thing you can do is when you get old enough, you we used to buy a Tirana. Like where all the Tiranas were in the world. It was like the most condensed population of Tiranas you'd ever find, and people would just hang up at laps up and down the main street. But we'd always get chased by this sort of family of boys called the Sharps. You know, they had like Bon Jovi hair, you know, like tipped hair. They had Stonewash in their rollers, their desert boots.
Doesn't seem scary now, but it was scary though, right?
It's pretty scary. Yeah. They just would beat us up and cause poofters. They did not understand. It was just too beyond them that you would have your hair different or that you would have a skateboard.
And have a skateboard, yeah.
And they would literally bash
What
you.
year is this?
Oh, 87.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But the country's behind, isn't it?
We
like
are.
A little bit.
Oh yeah.
The country.
The country.
Oh, the country. Not
this country.
Australia.
Yeah.
I remember skating at Melbourne Central on the Elizabeth Street side. There were some stairs and stuff there and ledges that we would skate. And then it was probably like 11:30 at night or something like that. And these guys just pulled up in their car, got out and started chasing us around, like just to try to have a fight out of nowhere. Like they just did it. And one of my friends, as his defence mechanism, he pulled his pants down, rolled around on the floor and just started yelling and screaming and making all these weird noises. And these guys who were chasing us just like freaked out and just bailed. And we're like,
right.
"You're right, Ed, you're right. What happened? Did I hit you? Did you get concussion? What happened?" He's like, no, I just did. That's
Natural defence.
I could not
Pull your pants
believe it.
down.
Yeah.
I remember
It's so good.
we used to skate these curbs out the front KFC in Wendouree. And it was awesome. You know, it'd be a group about 20 or 30 of us. Whatever. I remember this one time these bogans came past and like fucking at the car and they threw something out the car. They threw like a handful of firecrackers. And they were like those big ones, like penny bungers. And like a couple of them went off and one didn't go off. And I've picked it up. And then it went off. And it felt like a hand grenade. It felt like it blew my hand off.
They must have
And I was
loved
like,
that. The buggies must have laughed their heads
oh
off.
yeah, they would have loved it. They would have loved it.
We used to go car parking quite a bit. And we named the car parks after people named pools. So if you find a pool with a dead rat, dead rat pool, whatever. Yeah. And we had this one called the Steel Bar Car Park. Oh. You can sort of gather what happened. But we were going down, and this guy comes out. Now they're unattended, basically, car parks. You can go in and just ride them. Back then, the one on Lonsdale Street, stuff from SMC, actually, smooth, had nice, really steep ramps, and we just bomb it down. And he comes out with a massive steel bar, just throws it on the other side of the car park, throws it, it's going ting, 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 like just sparking as he's throwing it. And we're just like, bang, we're getting out of here, man. This guy's psycho. And they give when people go psycho. That's it. The machete guy and the bogans, when they go psycho, you just get out.
Yeah.
You don't drop your pants, try and slide your pants. That's not going to work. You're going to chop. The machete guys chop that thing off, mate. You know what I mean?
I have no idea.
You got to go, man.
Yeah.
I think so. It's smart to get because you're in there.
Car parks were a rad one. We used to skate in the car parks a lot. If it rained, you'd go to car park day.
Every time.
And you would, at the bottom, you'd put your $1 coin on the thing at the front of the lift.
Oh, we never did this. This is good.
Go up to the top and just bomb down. First one gets all the dollars off the thing.
Oh, that's a cool one.
And then you'd start teaming up. So then you'd be like, right, okay. So you put your $1 on, no worries. And then I'd go halfway up. And they used to have like a little grate that would go along.
I was just going to say the sabotage grates. They would
have the grate that would go along. And so initially we'd take a couple of the grates out so people would slam on the grates. And then people got a bit smart.
Oh, just between mates.
Grates out. A couple of bucks.
This is all for $1. And then people got smart and they realised the grates might be missing. So then you would get the fire hose and you'd put it under the grate. And then they'd come along and then you'd pull the fire hose as they came past. And then they'd slam on that. And then your mate's already in front, down the front, so you're sharing the spoils.
Did you guys used to gang up together?
Not really. I think it's just a mess. Just mayhem. It didn't matter who you ganged up with.
It was always a different person on your team.
You're too predictable otherwise.
Yeah.
That's good. There's a few guys now that are bombing car parks in the city. Like Feggins
it's a lot
and
of
all
fun.
them get together.
We go regularly still.
Do you? Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good fun.
Whereabouts? Well, you can't say.
No, you can say.
You can say like, is it Crowbar Car Park or is it?
The Steel Bar. We don't go there anymore.
Firecracker Car Park.
No, we go up to like is it Queen Street?
Yeah.
Because we start at the top end, so the other end, so like Spence Street end, and work back towards the top end, like around. Yeah. The last one we do is the one with the it's on Little Collins.
Yeah.
I think it's the one that Josh had the photo of, the ramp at the start. You guys have been in that one for surely.
Probably would have.
At the very top level, you got a ramp that just bombs down like a straight ramp. I think it's a down ramp to get down to the exit.
Yeah.
And across the other side of that same level, there's another ramp the same, but it's an up ramp.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to like totally have your ears open if you're bombing that one. So you like big ramp down across, big ramp down. And this is like just like ramp flat the whole way down.
Yeah,
but the gnarliest one I think I've been in is the Chinatown car park. Oh. That is deadly and it's fast.
Is it really
steep? It's always full of cars. So you've got like 2 ramps per level. Mm-hmm. So normally you go down a ramp, it's like, ramp, flat, and keep going down like that. This one has like ramp down, flat, ramp down, flat. So it's just like
so
fast.
You're picking up some speed.
It's totally fast, yeah. And this is apparently where Stacey did his demo in 75 when he was here. Oh. So at the top, people used to street skate there. You guys would know it. You would have gone up there. It's across, surf dive and ski where it used to be.
Yep.
The surf dive is sort of here, and then you got Russell Street. It's on that little Burke Street corner.
Yeah.
Right at the top is like a ramp, like parking bay, with a rail on it.
Yep.
And I've seen grind marks on it. So guys like ollie up and they grind it and come off it again. It's only like this high, but it's still fun for anyone to go and use.
Chinatown was rad. We used to go down there. I remember, again, one of the very first times we went skating in the city and we bombed Chinatown. And then we went up again to do it again. And my mate thought it was funny to jump on top of one of the big bins, like the big wheel, like the huge ones that get picked up by the trucks. And it's got wheels on it. So he gets up on it and he goes to do a boneless off it. And the thing starts rolling. And so he does the boneless and jumps and bails out. And then this thing just keeps rolling down Chinatown. And just goes crash into the side of this Mercedes and we're just bombing out of there. See you later.
You mentioned something about street skating and a Porsche.
Oh, yeah, at the Westpac Banks. Yeah, I was skating at the Westpac Banks. It was one evening, like I'd coming back from Paran or something, and I was on my own. I'm like, I'll just keep going to the city, have a bit of a skate. And I was skating the Westpac Banks. And I did a trick and then fell off. My board rolled down the hill and hit this Porsche right in the side. And I'm like, oh, shit, And of all cars, it's hit a Porsche.
I know that would have hit you right here, wouldn't it? Being a car.
Right up there. It hurt. But at the time, I didn't really know. I knew it was a Porsche, but I didn't know what if it was any good or anything, but it was.
Yeah.
And the guy was just getting in his car.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm like, no way, he's seen it. And he comes around, there's a little mark on his car, and I'm like, oh, sorry, man. And he's like, oh, and I gave him the details because he was right there. I couldn't do much else. And I actually gave him my proper details because normally you just be like...
Seriously?
No, I was on my own. I was being honest. I was still a good, honest kid at that point. But beyond that, it was always like Matt Hensley, Jason Lee, whatever.
Yeah,
just be throwing all these names.
I used to say the names of my two best friends, but like the first name of one and the last name of the other.
Yeah, I used that one for a while too.
In a small town, you'd get caught out by that.
Yeah.
But then, and I was like, yeah, no worries, all right, I'll pay for it, that's okay. And then I just never heard anything from him, so he sorted it out. And then
Lucky.
maybe now I've taught him to drive sometime down the track. But
there you go,
you might have paid him back in another way, in another lifetime. But back then I was thinking, oh, that's it. My whole life savings is going to go on this Porsche.
Yeah.
That's it.
Have you ever had Dex ran over?
No, not really.
Oh man.
No. I probably have had one or two
I've
go
got a
on
feeling
it.
I've had one get run over at some stage.
Snapped and then like flat spotted
I've
to
seen
death,
a few,
like the trucks, the
like
wheels,
full
the whole
wheel,
thing.
flat spot, everything just smashed.
That would mean that you
had
didn't land your trick. I don't know if I've ever... Did I ever?
I did that one time with the Porsche.
Yeah, that was the only time ever.
That was the only time ever.
Yeah, I remember doing a trick at Paran. No, I don't remember. I remember being at Paran and then being at St Kilda Road at the Arts Centre. I have no idea what the hell happened in an hour between time.
Oh, like you had it, like
So
you
I'd
hit your
done
head or something.
Yeah, I'd hit my head, and then all of a sudden I'm just sitting on this ledge at the Arts Centre, and my mate's like, "You gonna skate, Dean?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay."
Wow.
No idea what the hell happened in between. I don't think a car was involved, but I was definitely knocked out at Paran.
You ever been knocked out?
Not skateboarding, I don't think.
No?
A couple of times doing a few other things.
Right.
Motorbike riding and stuff like that. But no, I'm remarkably kind of injury free really from skating. Like haven't really smashed my head too hard. I've had a few little, dings here and there and stuff like that. Now that you've made me talk about it.
You don't wear a helmet either, mate.
There was the famous story of like when I was first with Trudy, my wife.
Yeah.
We went to it was like after one of the big comps in Melbourne at the tennis centre, and the next day they had at Point Cook they had a skate jam session or something. It was older crew and everyone like that. Sack was there and everyone.
Yeah.
And we went skating and everyone's all padded up, being all the older crew, and they're all padded up, helmets and everything like that. And I also had a bit of a skate. I was talking to Trudy, see how she was going. She's like, "Oh, why aren't you wearing pads and a helmet and everything?" I'm like, "Because I just don't. It's it's sort of the way I skate. That's it.
That's why you married me.
Way too cool, yeah. And next run in the bowl, and I've just gone to do like a fake yelly disaster or whatever on the 8-foot section, and just ate it. I don't even know what happened. Next thing, I'm laying on the flat, just splattered, and I remember like looking up, and Sax just looked down at me, going, "Oh, that was fucking harsh." And for him to say that, that's a fairly good swing. But it was just splat, and the whole crowd just went, "Oh!"
Yeah.
And she was over there just going, "Oh my God, what's happening?" She's looking around, going, "What's great?"
And that's why she doesn't like to let you go skateboarding now.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's
experience.
the thing. But then it's flipped. Like another time we went skating, and I was just at Fitzy, and I just did like a nose grind or something. I don't even know why. It's simple. I've done 100 times. Hung up and just ate it, and she couldn't stop laughing. She was.
That's because she used to love you before. Now she just tolerates it.
She's realised. She's like,
She's
suck
loosened
it.
up a bit.
You get away with too much stuff. I'm glad to see you go down once in a while. And she actually loves that stuff now. If I hurt myself, not too bad. She thinks it's funny, and it kind of is. Like I was kind of saying in the last.
Everyone laughs. Probably sees that Dean reacts to it, and all your friends.
Yeah.
Like when you slam, it's like Even if you hurt, it's different, but you stop laughing. But
inside, you're in a lot of pain.
yeah, that's it.
I remember actually one of my
always funny.
favourite things of you was I can't remember what rant we were on.
Yeah.
But I remember you bailed something. You were sliding down the ramp backwards. I don't know if you'll get that on camera, but you're sliding down the ramp backwards, going at your board. Just I thought that was the best anger statement at your board as you're slamming, going.
Blame the tools, right?
Yeah.
the tools.
You got to do it every time.
Yeah.
You been knocked out?
No.
Never.
No.
Wow, that's amazing.
I can't remember being knocked out.
That's because you've hit
Smashed
your
the head
too
a few
many
times. Hung up heaps of times,
Yeah,
but
right.
just not
Never lost consciousness.
No, I don't
Not
remember
that
doing it. No,
That's quite remarkable.
Can say I haven't. Yeah.
You've worn a helmet a lot, though, haven't you?
Since I started skating.
Yeah.
My mum and dad, my dad more than my mum, said if I don't wear my pads, I can't skate, and I got busted
Yeah, right.
when I was probably 9 skating without my
What was
pads
the
on.
punishment?
Home.
Yeah, right. Okay, fair enough.
Don't do it again.
Yeah. You've pulled me up on not wearing a helmet before.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Look, everyone's different, man. It depends how you raise. Like for me, it was obvious that I should wear one because we were concrete and bones, you know.
Yeah.
And the era I grew up in, it's harder these days because kids these days, all their role models are like not wearing stuff, you know. And then all of a sudden, like the way I grew up in the 70s was everyone wore safety gear. Yeah,
and it wasn't even good safety.
And as shitty as it was, volleyball pads, it didn't, like if you slammed on a volleyball pad, it's like rip straight down. So you got to scab anyway.
You were protected by rainbows though, so that was.
Yeah, well, that's right. No, that's actually helped me. Yeah, the rainbows, but you had the helmet and the hockey pads, the volleyball knee. Other sports were giving us their equipment until we developed our own. You know, and then once a plastic cap came in, that was a lifesaver.
Yeah,
it truly was. Because you were running out of everything.
Well, it was funny because, like, in the early days, like, I never really skated vert or anything. Like, we skated mini ramps and stuff, but, like, I wore pads kind of early. And I remember even street skating, like, ollieing off the Rialto, like, 8 stairs in knee pads at some stage. But then just because we were street skating, you didn't wear them. You were doing jump ramps or you were doing mini ramps or you were skating street and you didn't really wear pads.
Yeah.
And then it just developed, I've never worn them kind of thing. Even when I remember skating a vert ramp and like doing sort of backside melancholys a couple of feet out and bailing and just running down a vert ramp like, just, you know, I couldn't bail. Like I just, even if I had pads on, I didn't know how to bail. So it's...
That's a lot of it because a lot of the guys that skate without pads say they can't do it. Yeah. They don't know how to fall. They'd rather run it out. And I kind of get that. But at 51, I'm not running anything out these days, man. I'm going for
no.
And I think that's a thing. I think guys, not that I'm Tony Hawk, but guys like Tony Hawk, Lance sometimes skates without pads. You see him in photos and stuff and sessions without pads on. But the majority of these guys have always worn pads. And I think if they hadn't worn pads, they probably wouldn't be skating to the level they are these days. I think pads, it's saved me, like, and I'm a functional person still.
What do you think about the whole thing about not wearing pads now? Like I find it really alarming.
Man, it just takes one slam. Was it Ronnie Sandoval recently blew his knee out?
Yeah, right.
Was
or
it
your
him?
noggin, like, you know.
Well, he blew his knee out. He slammed and smashed his knee, and it was like super ugly. Is that what it was? Yeah. And I don't know how long it take to repair it, but that was just one slam. And it was simple. It's the backside air.
Yeah.
Landed really badly, went down on it, and that was sort of like his knee was just crazy lump over here kind of thing.
That's not good.
Might be swelling, might be like a new kneecap. Who knows what it is? But I haven't seen him back on the board.
The head
that was a
knocks
few
are
months
things
ago.
that worry me because you've only got one noggin. You know.
Yeah. I've seen some bad ones. I remember at Morty Ramp years ago, probably 85 or 86. Borgie got knocked out. No helmet. Slammed his head. Like another story as well in a minute. And this guy Colin Brown goes in around Borgie. We were like trying to settle Borgie out series. He's knocked out. He's on the flat, and this one guy goes in, and the board hits him again. Because he bails and like the board's going. I don't think it hit him in the head. Like just got him somewhere else. I'm like, you're great, man. We're all here to help him. Like you're trying to kill him, and so
Take note,
Borgie's
Hefty.
all right. Yeah, it's not good.
No, Hefty does that to me.
Does he?
Yeah, he's a prick.
And look, another thing that's not so great. That was kind of a funny story, but there's a guy who used to come to Newport years ago.
Yeah.
And he actually was skating Paran. Him and his friend were sharing a helmet, and he went for a run without the helmet, slammed, ruptured. I think the blood flow out of his brain. Ended up going to a coma, ended up dying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was sad, super sad for all of us. And that
happened at Paran.
Yeah, and that impact, that's when Paran was sort of it's a couple of years old, and that impacted a lot of us.
Yeah.
You know, I already knew the importance of a helmet, but that was like, to me, I thought that would impact like the generation that was coming up because they all knew him as an older guy and they saw this happen, or they saw him sort of go, and we all went to the funeral as well, so we said goodbye. And it was like,
would I have known that person?
No, I don't reckon you would have. He was local down at, he came from Hoppers.
Yeah.
But that was super sad for all of us. So, yeah, look, it impacts people. And, you know, there's things all the time. Wasn't there an epping contest years ago? Remember the epping ramp, the vert ramp out there, that little tiny one in that park? And someone had got killed on the road out there, hit his head, I think. That was another one of, like, the ramp was like, it was a plaque for him on the ramp. So,
well, that's the thing. I guess.
What about the Corio myth of the person that was doing a backside air and the train went past and beeped its horn at the time, and he's looked around while he's doing his backside air and hung up and ate it and died in the
His
bowl.
own fault.
Yeah, and now the bowl is haunted by that guy. So
I've never heard that one. Yeah, okay.
There at Corio.
Yeah, I remember hearing that one.
You haven't heard that one?
No.
No, I've not.
You haven't
heard
been
that
there
one
at night. Go there at night.
I've slept there in the bowl.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you done a seance?
Did you get touched?
We didn't do the seance. No, it was kind of weird because we were down there with we got the train down to Geelong because there was no cryo stop. We went to walk back along the. We went along the train line was at the top of the bowl, and me, Poss, Mark, we all walked back along the train line hoping to find the bowl. Sure enough, we walked for a long enough time. It was hours. Like we just, there it is. Got our sleeping bags, off we go, sleep in the bowl, and there was a camping and caravan show down at the leisure centre down there over that weekend.
Yeah.
The stuff got knocked off. So the first place they come to was a skate park to try and find it. They find us in the bowl asleep. With their torches, go, hey boys, would you steal any covers from the caravans? Like, what are we gonna do with covers from the caravans? Yeah, like little like fuse box covers and stuff. We're like, nah. Empty your bags. We're like, empty our bags. There's stinky pads in there. Like, wow, it's just unbelievable. That was
harassed,
But
totally.
but Caress was like 83. I reckon we did that.
That's crazy.
Slept in the bowl. But I know. But you heard Shane's. Was it Shane's story or Al's story about Johnny and those guys sleeping in the trees?
Sleeping in the hammock.
That's smarter. We were sleeping in the bowl. The bowl was like freezing and full of bugs and
You
stuff.
mentioned the stinky pads there. That was one of the reasons I didn't sort of get as much into vert because you had to take your pads
That's
and
what I
everything.
think.
It was kind of like...
And you probably evolved out of it for the same reason because it just like...
But I do remember I went on a skate trip down with Bogdan and Shane George and those guys, and I jumped in the back of the... They were like, oh yeah, we'll get you down there. And we're going down to Torquay. And I had to jump in the back of their wagon, and it was just this wagon, and everything was skateboards, stinky pads, and then Dean laying on top of that. And I'm just laying there the whole way, an hour and a half down to Torquay.
Marinating.
It was the worst. And you can imagine, I'm talking about Sack Reynolds and all those guys, and Bogdan and stuff. Not the cleanest of dudes anyway.
No.
I'm like,
But
stinking.
vert pads stink, man.
Yeah,
still
so
stink.
Like
bad.
melted nose hairs after that.
Oh man, yeah.
I'll tell you that I went to boxing recently. I was using some gloves that weren't mine. They're like communal gloves.
Ripper,
And I put these gloves on and was doing boxing, and I took the gloves off, and I stopped and I thought to myself,
Don't smell them.
these smell worse than any skateboard pad I've ever smelled. And I thought that was quite a testament.
Yeah,
That's
because
pretty
at least
stinky,
pads
man.
have an in and out for the stink, right? Like they can sort of blow through and they can dry out. Gloves are like one exit. There's no
Did you get
opening.
an STD on your fingers? Or?
No, the thing is, I went home and washed them, and they didn't stop smelling. They smelled like some sort of fish or something for the rest of the day.
Oh, nasty.
No, it's not good.
You asked last week, and it's relevant to what we were talking about with the pads and stuff. You asked last time we were here about what's our best trick.
Yep.
And one of the best tricks that I ever learned, and I'm sure that most of us ever learned, was how to slam or how to bail.
I'm a professional.
It's like, it's one of the key elements to why I'm still able to skate today is that I learned how to fall. I learned how to bail, I learned how to do, and like, without that, it's
like
not even classed as a trick, but
Are we talking
like
about
if I have to do
we're talking
40,
about the Rambo roll
if I have to do
out of it,
40
or-
out of 40, I can
the
do
knee
40
slide.
slams.
Yeah,
Oh, probably not the knee slide, but it's actually the bail, like the
like
roll,
actually,
Run out,
like
safety
roll.
roll,
Yeah.
Either roll or run out to know which way to tuck your body as you're slamming, or how to fall on the ground. Like, 'cause
How to deal with the speed and
You see it.
It's funny you
height
mention that
and the-
because there were two articles in Skateboarding magazine in the 70s. One was the art of knee sliding. That was an article about like when knee pads finally had a cap on, and this guy was knee sliding. We're like, well, that's cool. That's what we've got to do to save ourselves. It was in a big bowl at Upland, and the other one was the safety roll, and it all came from like martial arts. Guys that did martial arts. That safety roll came from
right.
running,
Ninjas.
diving, and saving yourself, and that's the same kind of approach.
We're
But you
boys, that's
see,
the
like,
ninjas.
people from the general public who don't skate, and they'll trip over, just like walking or something,
Yeah.
and just hit
yeah.
the ground like
Yeah.
fucking bang, and like
Yeah.
broken wrists and arms and like shit flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're just looking at it going, how the hell
What do they
I
call it?
could
A
jump
garage
off the
sale,
roof
yard sale.
and not hurt
Yeah.
myself. I could land,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, for people, you don't realise how much of a good skill that is. You can fall over and not get hurt, basically.
Do you find as you're getting older though, it's much harder to have that,
Yes.
that dexterity and the reflexes?
I've still kept a little bit of it
I
going.
think-
and it's sort of, you do slow down, and it
Yeah.
does
But also,
hurt. a little
You
bit.
don't fall
even
off,
just
though.
a normal roll,
Well, yeah.
you're, like the
Some-
spots that your body got used to being a bit hard on, now you
Avoid.
roll and your body is like,
It's
oh,
more
that's
impact.
Hurt.
Feel it hurts.
Yeah,
other
yeah.
thing,
You
if I'm
bruise
not-
up easier and
Yeah.
stuff.
If I'm not skating, I've got two kids jumping on me
Well, that's no, exactly. I'm the same.
I got beat to hell this morning. Seriously.
I got tenderised last night. Don't worry. Yeah.
His kids, they are on they don't even have any sugar in their diet. Not like yours.
Yeah.
His kids are mental. Like they are just not mental, but just like flat out.
They're non-stop, man. You've seen them.
Yeah. That's pretty rad.
Full of beans. It's peanuts and bananas.
Yeah, it must be some and water. Yeah.
One of the things that I became aware of when I was chatting to you the other night is about, we talk about, and you guys talked very much about this last time you were on, you were talking about how good skating is and all the good spots. Are there any low spots in skating for you?
Skating?
Yeah.
We sort of talked about it the other day with that early 90s period where there was little cliques, little groups and stuff that was starting to be a bit fractious and a bit aggressive and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But aside from that, really not that bad. I don't think so. I think it's been pretty good.
90s tricks and bad vibes were probably, the low point for me.
Yeah. That's kind of when it kicked in, huh?
Yeah, that was kind of where
because the scene did fracture for sure, and it became it wasn't just skateboarding anymore, it was like street skating. It's going again. Street skating and vert skating. Yeah, vert skating was dead.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to vert skate, you had to go with rollerbladers.
Yeah.
Skate with rollerbladers, and there was a lot of those guys are still my friends. The rollerblader guys from that 90s. Because
they're the only people you could skate with.
If you didn't skate with those, you were skating by yourself.
Yeah.
And there's no way you could be down there and not skate with them because they were there during your time when you were going to go down and skate too.
Yeah. I don't know if that really answers the low point.
Did you get any bummed out with any sponsors, or did you get sort of stitched up by anyone, or lose any people along the way? Or
no, I was pretty balanced in that regard. I had good relationships with everyone along the way, and still do. Like now, I come in here, I can go into Lush, I can go into Globe, I can, still hook up with everyone. There are probably a few odd occasions. I don't really recall them. They didn't stick in my mind, but there were probably a few odd occasions where I was like, oh, I should have been invited to that and I wasn't, or something. Right. But at the time, I might have been, questioning why I wasn't included in that. But I never dwelled upon it, and I don't really care. Yeah, it's not something that I was like, I was deserved of it or anything. I just noticed it at the time, but nothing really too much.
I just thought I'd ask the question because as we're hearing people's stories kind of unfold, and that's life, isn't it? There's the bad with the good sometimes.
It is. Yeah, I guess me personally, it's more like injuries.
Yeah.
They're definitely a low point.
Yeah.
And obviously losing friends to, drug addiction, that kind of stuff too. Yeah. Lots of friends to that.
That was something, yeah. There was a lot of guys that ended up along that path, and, you end up, they've passed too early, and you just can't understand the sort of reason for why they went, not just why they went down that path, but why they went so far down that path.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of guys go down that path, but to go that far down it, and I've had a few close friends who have passed on through that drug sort of stuff, and it's never a good thing.
Yeah.
It affects so many more people than they ever realise when they're involved in it. They don't realise how many people, even if they're still alive, how many people it still affects.
Yeah, while you're in it, you don't.
You don't have any
regard for that kind of stuff.
I don't know how much we sort of spoke about it, but there's a period where I was worried for like...
Yeah.
It's like you're at that cusp of like
kids aren't
dropping right off, like the next...
Their attention span would have been
the next step for him was, the big slope. He was right on the cusp of... And that was, if he had gone...
I wasn't doing anything too bad, though. If you get onto the wrong stuff...
Yeah. But it was almost like you're almost at that point where the next thing was.
It was a bad enough downhill slope. I sort of hit bottom a little bit, but from being in that position, I can understand that you don't understand how everyone else is feeling about it at the time. You're sort of thinking, like you kind of, for a while, you go, no, I'm kind of okay. I'm good.
Mm.
And then,
party.
Yeah, and then after a while, you realise that you are actually, going down pretty far, and what you're losing as a consequence, but you don't realise how that's affecting everyone else around you, how everyone else is seeing it. And I could see it, like after I sort of started getting out of everything, I could see other friends still there and, getting worse and whatever. And there's no matter how much you can tell them, like it's like I've been there with people and gone, and I've kind of got out of it a little bit and gone, hey, I was there with you not long ago. You really need to sort of come this way a little bit, and they're still. When you're in it, it's an addiction. Like there's no way out of it. Like you're just there.
That's the world.
You've got to.
Was there, when you moved away and looked back at them, did you also look forward at the people that had been affected around you and realise that impact, or was that not necessarily on the radar? It was more about...
Probably later. I remember, I think one night I was talking about, I had a girlfriend a long time ago, and I remember, you know, understanding, finally one day I understood what I put her through. And I remember I was talking to someone, and I don't even know how we got on the subject or whatever, and I just I got all upset because I realised what I'd put her through, and then I realised what I put my parents through and everyone through. Like, and at the time, it doesn't occur to you at all. Like, you're going through your own shit, you're completely up your own arse, basically.
Sometimes you've got to lose a lot before your eyes are open.
Yeah.
I think sometimes.
But look, you know, and it made me the person I am today. I've experienced a lot of stuff, and like, you know, like even through doing all that dumb stuff, I experienced some great, you know, life. There's as you guys started this conversation with, the ones that don't. So that's the hard bit. You know, even Matt Pollock was one of the other ones that he was a rad skater. Do you remember Matt from the Spotty days as well?
He had such an amazing style. The best front
Where was he from?
From East
East Kilo, yeah.
He was a bit younger than you.
I saw a photo of him.
Yeah, he was like a year or two younger than... Yeah, he was rad.
He was like the Troy Azoy and all those
really
guys.
rad.
One of those.
Well, he's
one of the ones that didn't make it, yeah. So
him, and then Sean Moisey not long after him.
Him as well.
You know, when even their best friend...
The old photos things, there was a Snake Pit catalogue and had Laurie in it.
Laurie Converse, I was just mentioning, Laurie Converse passed away from drugs, and
man,
you know, he was an amazing dude.
I look at that stuff and just go, man, it's at the time, you're just like, oh no, I'll be right.
People get lost in it. I've never obviously done it, but I sort of see my friends back then stepping away into it, and it seemed like a relationship to me. You know, it's like you get a girlfriend, you kind of disappear for a while, and that's sort of where you go, and then everyone around you is saying, hey, this girl isn't good for you, or she's great, or whatever it is, and there's all this feedback you're getting, but then you got to work it out for yourself. That's kind of how you come out of it. A lot of people don't. But
and the more people tell you not to do something,
of course, you're that age, you're just going to keep going.
You can't.
And when you're using substances, you'll justify your own reasons to keep using. And when you start using substances, it's totally different to why you keep using them. Well, you know,
at first it's fun, and then after a while it's just like you
feel normal.
Got to. To feel normal. Like you just basically.
I'm stoked you're here, man. That's for sure.
I'm stoked I'm here. Look, I mean, the life that I've had since then, and everything, and I mean, met amazing people and had a family and everything. So it's great.
It's not a healthy way to go, I don't think.
No.
Let's go to a more positive topic.
Well, we're talking about downers though, weren't we? Low points.
I think sometimes we need to have the balance sometimes.
That's true. Yeah.
I think, you know, and
I never got into that stuff, so, you know, like...
Getting old shit.
Getting old shit? Yeah. Getting old.
The reality of
don't get old.
It's not actually getting old, it's the reality
physically
of
getting old.
So, like the numbers kept ticking over, but you kept still living young. But then there's a point where your body starts to go, you know what? Yeah, we can't keep up with that, and that's the part where it gets a bit. That's hard. Yeah.
I'm in denial, but my denial.
Hey, we all are. Don't worry.
My denial is fading slowly.
You're in denial, but you've still got a bag of tricks. I'm just in denial. That's it.
Denial.
Yeah.
Trying to get some back.
Yeah. So, well, guys, I think we're probably getting to the end of our time.
Hey, no, Olympic
Sounds
Games.
good.
Olympic Games. You want to talk about Olympic Games?
I think so. It's just an interesting
you want to
topic.
talk about that one?
Oh, knife attack. Hang on. No, what's this one?
Let's see this one.
Porsche, Elizabeth Street
done
Gate,
that.
Phillip Island. Yeah.
Knife attack.
Yeah. That's the one that Mum doesn't know. The story Mum doesn't know.
Oh.
And I was willing
Josie, are you listening?
I'm willing to give it up for Mum.
You're willing to give the story up to Mum?
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
Does she watch this?
I'm sure she watches.
She does.
Yeah.
She does.
She does.
She loves every episode.
Intently watch.
She hasn't seen our episodes yet. She's seen all the others.
Has she? She's had more airtime than most people, I think.
Yeah, she's doing all right.
She sounds all right.
She's worthy though.
So tell us the knife attack
The
story.
knife attack story, it was a pretty funny one. It was, we were going to the car parks. Again, it was a rainy day. We'd been at Paran. And
Knife park.
Yeah, knife car park. We were heading off from Paran. We all caught separate trams in because there was a whole bunch of us, like the entire Paran, the vert, street, everyone was all coming together. And so I was on like the first tram. We all come into town and we're going up Little Collins Street to head up towards the car park we're heading to. And there was the Southern Cross building, and just there was a guy walking down with his missus, an old guy, and he had the umbrella. and I moved to the side because the umbrella was like right at my head height. So I moved
I
to the
thought
side.
you were going to say because I was very chivalrous.
Well, no, it was
I just didn't want to get hit with an umbrella.
I was moving to the side
And
to
you're being chivalrous.
literally back to the wall sideways to let them walk through so they would get past without any inconvenience. And the guy stops next to me and goes, you move off to the side, like off the sidewalk and move out of our way. And I go, I'm right against the wall, man. That's cool. You got plenty of room. No, you young kids have to have respect. Move around to let us old people, walk down the street without you in the way.
How old was he?
And he was like 65 or something like that, and with his wife next to him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
were you there, Grant?
I'm like, don't be
No,
silly.
I wasn't there.
He
For
wasn't
this
there.
one. I missed
No,
out.
He wasn't there. And I'm like, don't be silly, man. I've got my back against the wall, plenty of room. Off you go. And he's like, no. And he goes like this and pulls this knife. Literally, it was about that big, right? This little knife. And I've got my skateboard, and I'm like, oh mate, don't even think about it. By the time you even think about that knife, the truck's going to be in your head. You're going to be on the ground. And anyway,
From chivalry to beating off. Let's go for it.
So, because I never took a step back. Didn't matter. I was only a little fella, but I lived like an angry guy. I always was up in the face.
Yeah.
If
The
there was a
nicest
security,
guy that would
whatever,
turn into the angry guy. Like, no,
Yeah.
he'd never take a step back.
This
no matter
one?
what. Yeah.
always
never.
on the, yeah. So anyway, they do go around me, and then I walk off, and just about 10 metres up was a set of stairs, and there was a guy sitting on the stairs with a six-pack, and he's sitting there, he goes, did that guy pull a knife on you? I go, yeah, what a silly old fuck. He goes, go and show him this, and he gives me this knife, like a proper big
That's
knife.
not a knife.
Yeah.
That's a knife.
Show him this.
And I don't know why, but I went, yeah, that's funny, I'll do that. So I get this knife, and I go back down the street, and I'm like, hey, old mate, you want to play with knives? Here's a proper knife. And he looks around, and with that, on the opposite side of the street, there was a building getting built, and security guards had just been walking around, and they've just seen this young kid with a skateboard running down the street going, this is a knife. And I'm like, fuck. They pick up 2x4s, these security guards, and they run over like, put the knife down. And I put it down, I go, stop that guy, and make sure you get his knife as well. And so they stop him. And just standing there, they've called the police. Then the next wave of skateboarders off the next tram come up the street, and they see me on the sidewalk with these security guards with 2x4s, and all of a sudden there's this massive blue about to start with all the skaters versus these two security guards. I'm like, no, guys, it's all right, don't worry. Anyway, the cops turn up and they go, what happened? And I go, well, I told them what happened, and I said, this guy on the stairs, and I point over to the stairs, and there's a six-pack sitting there, and no dude there.
He's
Obviously, shot through. I'm like, this guy on the stairs, man, he gave me this knife, and they're like, no, really? And I'm like, why would I be carrying it off? Why would I wait till up there until I pull it out? And I'm pointing, and there's a six-pack there. They're like, okay, so they sort of saw it, and they're like, all right, go home and tell your parents we're going to be giving them a call later on. So by the time you get home, they'll know about it and stuff.
Hello, it's Josie here. Just put him in jail.
Yeah, no, she wasn't like that at all. She would have been, no, not Dean. He wouldn't do that. Grant, yes.
Are you sure it's not Grant?
Throw me straight under the bus.
So, as it was back then, I was just so stoked on skating that we went off and skated at the car park. I probably wanted to win my $1 at the bottom of the car park.
Yeah.
So we just skated
Did you
all
take your knife
afternoon.
with you? Like you probably would have won.
No,
if
the cops took that, so that's probably in their collection. And I skated all night and went home at 8:30 at night, whatever it was. And as I got off the bus to skate the 2 blocks home, I put my board on the ground and pushed off and went, oh shit, the cop's going to have called home. And I just remembered the whole thing came back to me. So I went in the front door. Dad's in the lounge room just watching the telly. Mum's in the kitchen cooking some dinner or something. Hi, Dad, how are you? He goes, hey, Dean, yeah, how was your skate? Yeah, pretty good.
Waiting.
Just sort of snuck past, okay. He didn't say anything. And I go into Mum, hi Mum. Hi Dean, you want some food? Oh, no, I'm okay, thanks. Waiting, nothing. Go in my room, close the door and just went, oh, I got away with that. I totally got away with it. No, totally got away with it. So
Awesome.
I should have taken it up a bit more and knifed a few more people. It's that easy to get away with it.
And that's how your crime spree began.
Yeah. But it was going to be a major incident with all the other guys turning up as well, and to see these security guards running across the street, and I'm looking around going, why are they running? And I'm like, oh yeah, because they're running. It was surreal. It was really surreal. And this old guy, I couldn't believe that he was being so silly about it as well, like the initial kind
Being
of
a
just
silly
walk
old
around.
codger.
Yeah, his missus was like, and he ditched his knife by the time the cops got there. He'd given it to her, like they checked him and stuff, and So it was a bit
Probably
of
a
So
pimp.
she was complicit.
He was a pimp.
she was like our mum would have been.
Yeah,
Complicit.
yeah.
Now,
Complicit.
speaking of your mum,
Yeah.
have you had a chance to talk to your mum about the footage last week? Like, did you go back? Because I know your mum
saw
did
it.
some dirt on you guys.
We saw her at Christmas and she laughed about a lot of it,
Did she?
actually.
She did. I was pretty hurt though.
You were pretty
because-
hurt by it, weren't you?
Like the fact that
I was impressed the way that she held on to the secret.
no, but like it was so sly.
I don't know.
Get through
Did you have
all
anything
that
else
stuff.
to say?
Well, I was pretty hurt by it, so I thought, look, I'm
She
going to
was
interview
concerned
Mum.
about how much you were hitting on her.
Oh yeah, your mum sounded really hot over the phone. I've got to say.
So my idea was I thought I'd ring her up and just try and get a few words from her and I was going to get an interview, but
Yeah.
I thought we wouldn't really have time to get a long form interview and try and, ask her more questions like you did. So, but I did get a little bit of a story out of her. So I basically said, look, we don't have time for an interview. How about you give us a few words on your memory of us skating? Because we want to hear it direct from you. Because
Oh, you don't believe me?
No.
You think I might have changed
no,
some
I
of the
believe there was
information
some
in that?
embellishing
I would
in
not
there.
do that.
No,
I
no.
might have done it a little bit.
Yeah, possibly.
So what I did is said, hey, Mum, just give us a few words on your memory of us skating. And, eventually maybe if you want to at the end of it, just let us know who is number one.
Do you have anything here like that?
Oh, let's just have a look. Let's see if I can get this to work.
Okay.
My
Just bear with
memories
us a
of Dean
second.
and Grant skating
gonna
were
have-
great. I didn't know much about skating when they started, but as I was watching them,
hang on.
I felt embarrassed. You could see that Dean was a mummy's boy
Technical problem.
with weak ollies and no style.
I feel
And
a
sometimes
stitch-up
we would
coming
laugh
here.
at Dean's spazzy girly hands.
See,
So I
just a
tried to
second.
forgive
You're not
him.
involved,
It's so
You're not
hard.
involved in this stitch-up.
I don't know what's
Dean's
going
I just
done
want
a
to say, I'm not involved either. I
My
had
memories
nothing
of
to do
Dean
with
and Grant
this.
skating
I
were
don't
great.
understand.
I didn't know much about skating when they started,
Do you want us to
but
be
as I was
quiet?
watching them, I felt embarrassed.
Let's just see if we can get this. These guys can hear it.
My memories of Dean and Grant skating.
Yeah.
I'm apologising.
Yeah.
I'm just apologising. There's some technical
Okay.
difficulties. A
So-
lot of shit going on over
But
there.
we do like single fin.
I'm actually really enjoying this beer.
It's a good beer.
What do you think about this tasty beverage?
It's actually a good beer.
I'm right into it.
It's fruity, isn't it?
I came
I've got
here with
a question.
Hey, can we
Yes.
get Tony to drink his first beer?
No
chance.
I'm going to quote you.
You know what's funny?
No.
I saw Tracy the other day about I was doing this, and she goes,
Tracy's your wife.
my wife,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Remind the boys, and Dean straight out denied that he was on rollerblades. Must have been you then.
No, it wasn't me.
It was. You've been on
Then
it.
it was
I haven't
you.
been on
Then it was you then.
No.
Because
I've
Tracy
never had 'em on my
we were
feet
doing a
ever.
demo at the showgrounds, and they had a rollerblade set up. So we were doing like a
That would have been Dean for sure.
we're doing a demo or some kind of thing was going on at the showgrounds when they first opened that brand new arena kind of thing. It was indoors and everything else. And they had ramps in there, some jump ramps. They had like a flat, like a jump ramp to a gap, and we were all doing that. You guys were there. Anyway, so we went into this other area where there was some like a rollerblade kind of workshop going on, and we're like, let's just do it. And we all put them on. Tracy remembers Ralph had to go.
I know. I remember Ralph
Yeah.
having a go.
Yeah.
So I don't reckon
And no, I'm sure he.
Nah, you got. I'm gonna check.
You were the one at SMC.
What?
You had to go one night at SMC.
Anyway, this is how Tracy remembers it. She goes, Dean was on them, and we were both like doing like things that it's not like scooter riding, right? Scooter's quite easy, and we found it super easy
Yeah.
to do it. And we're doing like little airs on the quarter pipes and stuff, and not even that hard.
Yeah.
No.
Not shredding.
That was
but,
when
You weren't tempted, Tony?
rollerblading and skating was.
You weren't tempted?
I had to go.
No, to change.
Oh no.
No.
That was when rollerblading and skating were quite.
They couldn't do a blunt.
We were.
I saw a guy did a blunt at Param one time.
Did he have the stoppers on the end?
No, but he put his wheels over and went straight back down. Like, so he's gone up and done this and gone blunt and like just like straight backwards.
Blunt to the bottom.
He totally straight to his head. So I did one. I'm like, yeah, pop back in. He goes, oh, looks cool. Yeah, try it, man. Hook back in. It's so funny.
Mr. Spielberg, how do we go with the sound?
No.
It's not going to happen. That's a shame. What we'll try and do then is maybe in the next episode, we'll get the feedback from Josie about really what the boys were like with skating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
We've got a gift for Peter.
We have a gift for Peter.
We've got a gift for Peter.
Go
Oh,
and grab
okay.
Pete.
Pete's in the shop.
Yeah.
Pete can't be with us today because he's actually working in there, earning his money at Goliath. And just want to say thanks to Pete for having us again
cheers, Pete.
in this
God, yeah.
wonderful facility that he lets us use.
Come on in.
And thanks to Single Fin, thanks to Gage Road Breweries for giving us some beer. We really appreciate that as well. thanks to Tony for coming in.
Anytime, man. This is great chatting to you guys. And
Do you reckon, Tony, we might be able to have you in for a chat one day?
Tony needs his own story. Like, seriously.
I reckon. But
the amount of
the rule is you
history
have to be
and
nominated
everything
first. So.
that's cool. I'm happy to be unnominated. It's fine, but I need to. There's a few stories. I've got a few stories. At least 45.
Right, what have you got for Pete?
I've got one thing for Pete to begin with. Is these stickers here, Pete. Some Yodgy stickers.
What are they?
There you go.
Show the lovely people on the cameras.
You know, the last one of these I've got is on my lawnmower.
Well, there you go. Put some more on your lawnmower. Now you got to have half a dozen.
There you go. Look at that. Fantastic.
Yodgies.
I know.
Nice.
And
millions of these things once upon a time. Thanks, Tony.
That's
What else?
You're welcome.
Nice Yodgy stickers.
I know.
I think it was frozen. But Yodgy stickers.
Yep.
Nice one.
And they won't
You really do hoard a
They
lot of
won't
shit.
end up on a collector's
That's
site.
all the ones I have.
Just free and stuff.
And even
Not room to
that's
get
the
some
only
more
one I've
stuff.
got of the Demo Kings. That's yeah. Pete,
Should
take
have
that.
framed it.
Put it in there, mate.
so, come around this side, Pete. One of the other.
Bit of a presentation for Pete, actually.
Yeah.
Presentation?
Yeah.
Like a single fin?
So we all know. Most of us would know Pete and what he's done for skateboarding over the years and all the work he's put into skateboarding. But no one's ever seen him on a skateboard. So we understand that if you don't skateboard, then you must scooter.
Yeah, we're going to get him started on this.
So
That's a
Pete,
good
that's
start.
yours.
There you go.
And there's your scooter, and it's got the 3 wheels on the front,
I can't tail
2
whip
wheels
it.
on the front.
You can't tail whip it.
There's your
You're not
helmet.
trying hard enough, clearly.
Safety is number
No, you
one.
can't tail whip it. It's safety.
This is a signed helmet by Jimmy Nixon.
Is that a stolen helmet? By Jimmy
from his
Nixon?
shop.
Yep, there you go.
Beautiful.
So, actually, it's true skateboarding. We did steal it. Actually, we just borrowed
Beautiful.
it.
Yeah.
Giving it
So
back.
this is actually for
You'll
you.
be able to fly around the shop on that, Pete.
Yeah.
Down the corner, do the mail.
gold.
Flex it out. Look, I'm on the...
Oh, you can't see it, but it's bottomed out.
I can't go anywhere, look.
There's an extra safety built-in thing.
Yeah,
You can't go too fast.
It will bite.
So if possible, when Tony's on, I'd love to be a part of having a chat to him because we talked a few stories today. But
Did he
there's a
just
lot
invite
more.
himself back on the show?
Oh, he's
I
welcome to come
kind
back.
of did. Sorry, yeah, we're still on.
No, we have.
I'm trying to get rid of you. I've had you for 2. I'm trying to get rid
No,
of you.
we have a lot of stories, lots of ground to cover. You know,
Yeah,
'cause-
yeah, and even just other questions and interest things that over the years I thought, I never really knew that about Tony. How'd that come about or whatever? So there's all sorts of.
We had a chat on the
interesting
phone
things.
last night and learned, the other night, and I learned some things about you. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, there's a bit of stuff, bit of history there.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, I only came here in '81, so I've only been here in Australia since '81. So, there's stuff from there onwards, and we sort of came
local,
in.
Tony.
Pardon?
You're nearly local.
Almost.
Cool.
Need an Aussie passport. That's all I need now.
Yeah,
But anyway, that's for another time. But
definitely.
It's about Dean and Grant today.
Now, look, you nominated before, didn't you?
We did. Oh,
Who was it?
well, there's Will Stoyles.
Stoyles. That's it.
Thanks, Pete. Hey, let's scoot us here, mate. Take the
Darren White.
scooter.
Stoyles and Darren White was also
Darren
right, Darren
Stoyles
White.
and Darren
also
White.
also
I think
I
Stoyles
think
Stores might be on the cards.
Yeah, 'cause
someone
Stoyles is locked in.
Stoyles is locked in. Another one, and Darren is keen as well. Just haven't sorted a date with him yet. But I think somewhere along the line, Junior would have to be
Junior Penne.
involved. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he has a very, very interesting story.
Excellent.
So I
How did we get back here? Did he nominate me and I nominated him last week? Is
No,
that
you
how it
just
happened?
don't even know
you
what
talked too
happened.
much, and he didn't get to chat, so we thought we'd have it back. So,
I still didn't chat.
I'm going to sign us off. Thanks everybody for watching and joining in. This camera, thanks for letting me know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, Tony. That was
Hey,
ace.
no worries, man.
Choice.
Yeah,
Very
choice,
good.
bro.
Choice, bro. Thanks, gentlemen, for coming again.
No, thanks for having us
We'll
again.
have you back to talk to maybe to Tony, or if we have some other
It's been
particular
hilarious
topics.
fun. It's been
I
great.
reckon a group is good. Group discussion's good.
I'd like
discussion's
to.
good.
I
Yeah.
would like to get that interview from Mum sorted.
Look, your
because,
mum has to have the last word, I think.
Yeah.
Have you got it on your phone?
Yeah, I've got it on my phone.
Put it on your phone.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Oh, let's just hear it. Put it on the mic.
We can see.
Will
if
that
it
work,
works.
Aaron?
It's,
All right. So we're going to hear from
I don't know
Josie.
why I'm encouraging him to do it. It's a stitch up.
Oh, it's not really. It's
You know
going to
those
be.
little faces
Your
you
mum,
do?
she sounds like an
Reminds me of
angel.
when
She
you
wouldn't
used to do
lie.
the
I'm sure
extras
she
work
wouldn't
on
lie.
TV, and you would do like. You would do something.
Throw that into a mic.
Right?
Okay.
I just love doing that.
So instead of trying to do a big interview, how about you just give us some thoughts on your memories of us skating and maybe answer the biggest question of all, who's number one?
My memories of Dean and Grant skating were great. I didn't know much about skating when they started, but as I was watching them, I felt embarrassed. That you could see that Dean would be a mummy's boy with weak ollies and no style.
Dean,
and sometimes we would laugh at Dean's spazzy girly hands. So I try to forgive him. It's so hard. Dean's done a massive amount of ollie training, trying to get pop. That's pretty much all the Kensington skate park is good for. Dean's trying really hard. Maybe one day he'll get better at it. But I was very proud of Grant. He was hardcore.
Grant's hardcore.
He has a big bag of really good tricks. Huge pop. He had that McSqueeb haircut with a big fringe that I did myself, so he was super cool. Who is number one? Grant is number one.
Your mum sounds like Siri.
There you go.
It sounds like Siri.
It does sound like Siri.
It didn't sound
go.
scripted at all.
So does this
It's totally read off a page, right?
Yeah.
No. Have you spoken to his mum? She sounds like that.
I've met.
No.
You notice that there was a
So-
few times where it was a
Tony
little bit
Hallam.
difficult for her to read the sentence that Grant had written because he
She
didn't
did have a
finish
gun
school.
to her head.
Well,
like,
and
you know,
also
so-
he didn't finish school,
I
so the
don't
writing wouldn't have
understand
been
what
very
you're talking
easy.
about.
No commas
So to clarify, again, I made points here. She was embarrassed that you could see that you were a mummy's boy
Yes.
with weak ollies and no style. She laughed at your spazzy girly hands.
We all laughed at that.
She
to be
tries to
honest.
forgive you, but it's very hard. You do a lot of ollie training. One day you'll get better at it.
Oh, I reckon you might have to get your own version of your mum's story. What do you think?
And
No, I'm leaving it. That's it.
You're
I'll,
leaving it,
I'll
that's
just live
it.
with that.
Okay.
I'll live with that.
I think
All
that's
right.
the final word.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Mr. Spielberg, who have we got in the pipelines next? Do we have a confirmation of... So I just want to say this: Tony Hallam was the Victorian champion, the Moomba champion, the Australasian champion, national champion, and farting at Goliath champion. That's how you got that hole in your pants, mate.
That wasn't
Who's
even
next?
me. You're blaming me for nothing.
Will Stoyles is next. Okay, Stoylesy, we're going to try and catch up with you this week, and we'll try and lock you in for a date and to speak with you live on air. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. Thanks, Single Finn. Thanks, Goliath. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, boys. We're out.
What a way to go. Oh, that rages.
I was going to mention something about that earlier. She'd always be farting, burping. Like,
You've not known that about
always
you.
had that shit
Oh,
down
man,
pat.
yeah.
Really?
Hang out long enough, you'll hear about it, yeah.
Fuck.
Not shy about fluffing.
Nah.
That's
Why
a
would you be?
classic.
Let's get some donuts now.
Good job, boys.
That was great. Thanks, guys.
That
So-
timing was...
Yeah, thanks.